If you got we don't have a microphone for Teresa. She can borrow mine.
She didn't share with us.
Okay, I'll keep it to your left so she can.
How's that? Man, look at this. Tom's praying. Yes.
Yes.
Me.
Tracy.
And I'm swearing.
Oh, yeah.
Tracy's.
You all have to look up now and then. We're going like that. We can't hear you. Tracy.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotta put that up there in your face.
Test, test. Hey, I'm a little hot, David. Testing 1, 2, 3. Mayor Mike. Bellowing out. When in doubt, get louder. Say again.
Secretary asked that I tell you it was a little
Secretary.
light on the
Oh. Well, we're going to try to crank it up tonight, so we'll see how that goes.
All right, I found a class I want to do. Make a look at us.
Do it.
Got one today that came out today.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. That was,
Or do you want to send Teresa to it?
I don't know. Right now, I'm just working on the meeting. I can't multitask, it turns out.
Somebody would need us a cushion for these.
Well, she brought
I got
one.
one for you.
That's what I need.
Okay, everybody got your microphones on? Dale, your microphone on? Getting ready to go live.
Ready to go?
Testing.
Yep.
Okay, the time is 5:30. It is Thursday, September 8th, 2025. We are at the Poetry Community Christian School, and this is the September meeting of the Poetry Town Council. The meeting will be in kind of two parts tonight. We're going to do a public hearing for our budget up front, and then we're going to roll right into the regular reports and agenda. Before we do that, let me establish quorum by calling roll. Mayor Jaffe is here. Mayor Pro Tem Fowler.
Here.
Councilman Kendrick.
Here.
Councilwoman Hibbs.
Here.
Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilman Bryant.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody is here. We've established a quorum. Councilwoman Hibbs has agreed to lead us in the pledge, and then Councilman Tom will lead us in the prayer. Please join us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, you know, given all of the turmoil that's occurred over the last week, I want to read the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, which I think is appropriate for what we're dealing with as a nation. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there's hatred, let me bring love. Where there's offense, let me bring pardon. Where there's discord, let me bring union. Where there's error, let me bring truth. Where there's doubt, let me bring faith. Where there's despair, let me bring hope. Where there's darkness, let me bring your light. Where there's sadness, let me bring joy. O Master, let me not seek as much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is giving that one receives, it is pardoning that one is pardoned, and it is dying that one is born to eternal life. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Tom. Okay, well, thank you to the gigantic audience we have here tonight. It's always heartening to see citizens joining us at these meetings. As I said, we're going to start off here in just a minute with a public hearing for our budget. This is something we're required to do by law. It doesn't have to be the night that you vote on the budget, but because we got a little bit of a late start on the budget this year, having only taken office in May and all of that, it worked out that it coincides with the vote. But everything we're doing, I can assure you, because I have doubled and triple checked it, is by the books, by the law, and according to open meetings. So let me go ahead and open up the budget hearing, and let us go ahead. I guess I'm not sure, having said I've got my act together, I'm going to admit I don't, in that I think what we'll do is let's have a little conversation here as a council, and then we'll go ahead and open up the mic, and anybody that wants to step up to the mic and make comments is invited to do so. So let's go ahead, team, and start out with the budget. We're all working off of the same copy here. It should be the one that was in your packet that's marked Exhibit A. I did that because it has to go along with the ordinance, and when it goes with the ordinance, it has to have an exhibit number on it. So I put the exhibit number at the bottom, or at the top, and then I put draft at the bottom. Of course, the draft comes off once we establish what the numbers are going to be exactly. So I will say for the folks listening in and here in attendance that this has been a little bit of a fluid process. You know, we've tried to learn from the last 4 years of the council with budgeting and spending and collecting income about, you know, what the numbers need to look like. We've changed up some categories a little bit, not in any attempt to hide anything, but just to help us sort of manage things. For benefit of detail on that, as an engineer, I like to see lots of granularity, right? It's like, how much did we spend on toilet paper, paper towels, whatever. But in budgeting, that actually kind of works against you, because if you have money left in one category, you really can't just use it for the other. So it's better to just call it, in that example, housekeeping, right? And everything is under housekeeping. So we've tried to balance that kind of thing as we've created these categories. So I'll just open it up to the council initially here to any additional thoughts you've had on the budget marked Exhibit A draft. Yes, this one. And I'm leading the conversation only because I read in the rules the other day that the mayor is single-handedly responsible for the budget. So since I'm the one that goes to jail, I'm going to lead the conversation here, leading into the vote. I say that tongue-in-cheek.
Well, I just had some questions.
Okay.
Which I'm sure Ms. Hibbs is able to easily answer for me that I can't remember from a month ago. And I guess the first one is on professional services. Last year's budget was $35,000. This year's $37,000. We spent $22,000. How did we come up with the $37,000?
Can you give us a number in front of it, Tom, just so we can
Oh,
find it?
sorry, it's $5,600.
Okay, yeah, everything is numbered, okay.
And I can't,
5,600 professional services, okay, so that includes 56, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70, is that correct, Teresa?
oh, yeah, it's a group.
Everything below it. Well, and I will tell you, I know Dale sent us some numbers for those, and those are not as big as the numbers he sent us, and we just ran out of money to spread around, so those are what we started with. I can tell you we're going to do two things as part of this budget process. We're going to put funds in the rainy day fund, right? And that's a group we can reach into if we get short somewhere, but I'm anticipating maybe mid-year we may have to do a budget amendment once we get a handle on lawsuits and mapping and other categories, right? It's hard for me to look out 12 months and know how much we're going to spend with consultants and things. So these were kind of going in to get us started for the year, but you know, we may have to go back and amend the budget at some point or pull from the rainy day.
So Tom, I'm going to address your question a little bit more. So prior to, or last year, we didn't have as many items under professional services. So one of the things that we took, we put tech support, public forum website, tech services. Those are new categories to professional services. They were broken down all in one lump for IT the previous year. So that's why you see a difference in the dollar value from previous years. Does that make sense?
Broke it out.
Well, and
Yes.
one of the other things we did was we tried to streamline some of the items to combine, like she's saying now, because it's so much easier if we're, you know, have, let's just say, because I know one thing was sensitive, was like mowing and housekeeping, all the town hall stuff. We try to put it all under one line item, so you just keep it fluid through that line item, so that way if there's any adjustments for mowing or septic tanks or whatever, we don't have to go to amendment every time. We can just take it out of that one line item, and then if there's any questions, then we can get with Teresa and she can give us actually receipts for those line items. So some of those things that you may see in professional services stuff, there's probably another line in there that we also included professional services to address, to keep the budget fluid, if you will.
Okay, yeah, it's about $15,000 higher than what we actually spent last year, but, and that's why I was just wondering what was in there.
Especially with attorneys or engineering, if it's in professional services in certain line items, we did still want to keep some things specific
Yeah,
in the line items, but at the same time, we wanted to give it a fluid, so that way, if we do have to adjust something, it's all in one line item now, easier to try to
Okay.
manage a budget.
yeah, we had that discussion last meeting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, one of the things that I think we're probably going to have to work on over the course of this fiscal year is tweaking our map, right? We've got all the ETJ withdrawals and other things. We've never incorporated those into the map. So I don't know what those costs are going to be and how we're going to accomplish that, Dale.
But that would, I'm sorry.
We
I'm
have an
sorry.
estimate of that cost from the engineer
Right, but that's, but I don't know how much of that project we're going to do.
due this year.
Yeah, so we're going to spend some money there. I'm just
But
not
that
sure
would be
exactly.
coming out under 5,600?
What was
Some
that?
of it, yeah.
What was
It'd
it?
come out of 5,600.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So just to run the numbers, it's not a 65% increase on our line item, but it
Right.
would be a 65% increase if we spent all that money over what we spent this year.
Right.
So with the numbers that Dale's got from the engineers and forwarded to me that we're gonna have in later conversations, this is probably, maybe not even gonna do that, but with, to Mike's point, with our limited budget, I feel like that's a good place that we can revisit it tonight even.
So it's going to be a different meeting when we get into that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but it would be 165%
Oh, okay.
of what we've spent this year, so it would be an increase.
Now, for the benefit of the entire council, and Teresa, keep me honest here, so on 4450, encumbered road fund, at the time of printing of Exhibit A, it was $80,019. Remember, we had set aside a few meetings back some money for road repair, but we haven't spent it as quickly as we thought, so that number actually is $91,065.28.
Right.
So part of our exercise tonight is going to be to allocate that 11,000 or so dollars, and I'm going to promote us putting that in the rainy day fund, but anyway, there's $11,000 sitting there. that-
91,065 and 28 cents.
28 cents, that's correct.
So
over-
just so everybody has the number that we need is going to be $11,046.28.
11,046 and what?
28 cents.
Okay, so we've got
11,000.
$11,046.28 is unallocated, and that's additional money that's
Okay.
been accumulated in the encumbered road fund.
Okay.
Well, and I guess that's my second question is 6010 and 6100. 6010 is 100,000 and 6100 is 82. Together they're 180,000. Okay, what we budgeted last time was 148 for 6010 and 35 for 6100, which is, again, about the same amount, but we spent quite a bit less. We spent roughly 100,000. So I can't remember, why did we, I think we had this discussion last week, why did we shift the money around between those two funds?
Well, because capital expenses are tangible, okay? Instead of, we never really kind of captured that before. So like when we're patching holes and stuff, that's not capital expenses.
So you can't spend out of the road fund for the capital expense?
Correct.
Okay.
You can.
Yeah, you can, as long as
Yes,
it's on
sorry,
road. You can
yes.
have capital encumbered projects and non-capital encumbered projects.
Right.
Those all have to be road, but to
Yeah.
me, the capital are the bigger projects,
Right.
right? If we like resurface a long stretch of road, or we spend $50,000 or $100,000, I would be inclined to say that's a capitalized expense.
Yes.
Versus 10,000 here, 5,000 there on pothole repair, which is.
So 6010 and 6100 can both come out of the road fund?
That's correct.
Yes,
Okay.
That's how they're funded.
right.
Okay. I think we had that discussion, I just didn't remember it.
We just wanted to make sure we do see separation, where there is not just one line item for patching the roads, whether it's
Yeah.
who did it, the county or the city road crew did it. So now we've got a separation, so we can actually find it a lot easier and better and keep track with it.
Okay, let's jump over to 6,200 for a minute. I don't want to lose my thought here. That's grounds maintenance. Now, that includes building cleaning, janitorial. It includes mowing. It includes septic maintenance. It includes, annual inspections on septic that are required. To date, we have spent $3,126.60.
Right.
We're only two-thirds of the way through that, but I think we've shorted ourselves in our proposed budget. I'm trying to find it here.
Yeah,
Wait,
6,200, yeah, 1,700, so I feel like we need to move that one up, because that's a going-in problem.
Yeah.
So we've got 1,700, so again, we've got the 11,000 something, so I think we need to
So-
move that number up.
So does Mr. Fletcher, does he charge us 12 months, or does he charge us 9 months, 10
We
months?
charge it, we pay per mowing, literally. We pay,
Per
each time he mows, we write him a check.
Okay.
So
So I
if he
would-
mows twice a month, we write him 2 checks a month. It's about twice a month that he's out there.
Is he doing that in the wintertime?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, I wasn't paying attention last
Yeah,
year,
Just
but,
spring, summer, and fall.
yeah.
Yeah, so if we were paying him twice a month for a 12-year period, it was 19,000, or $1,920.
It's 160 a month roughly for, what, 8 or 9 months of the mowing season?
And I don't remember.
I think it would be easier if we just take that amount spent divided by 11. We're 11 months into this fiscal year.
Run it out to 12.
Then move it up to 12, and it basically is $3,500.
Yeah, I think it's 47.
So make that $3,500.
I would be happy with 3,500. I think that's a fair number that we can,
But now, you mentioned the septic service comes out of that same fund?
yes.
Yes.
And so,
Air conditioning repair, I mean, that's
He's
all,
onto something with the
but the septic is a known cost. That's whatever, $300 a year or 400 or something like
there's
that.
a state required test that we have
Right.
to meet every single year. We just went through it. I think it was, what, $240 or something?
Yeah.
So we've got to do that. But yes, I'm the one that puts the tablets in it every month and make sure that it's running right. So we're not paying, we do not have a monthly service, but we do have a state-required annual
Annual fee.
inspection. Because it's a septic treatment plant, you can't get around that, so.
But that's $300 or $400 right there, isn't it?
240.
240, I think it was this year.
Okay.
Okay,
Is
so,
that 240 for the, is that 240?
400 total, but we've paid that shows in the reflection of this 3126.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Not, we just paid that.
We just paid it.
We just paid the BOD, so the 240's in there.
So is that 240 a month, or is that?
No, once a
No.
year.
So one
Once a
time.
year.
Okay, okay.
They inspect it quarterly,
But
but the
that,
fee's one time.
that went with the system, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought, okay.
okay, so for Unity here, 6,200 is being amended to $3,500.
35?
3,500, 3,500.
Okay.
And we'll clean up the math in a minute on our rainy day. Do we have any other categories that somebody feels strongly are too high or too low?
Well, I guess I just raise a question. 5,000, the secretary's salaries?
Yep.
It was 24,000 budgeted, spent 23, and yet we're budgeting 35 for next year, this coming year.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is make up for election season. So even though we're not going to have election this year, we're trying to prepare for what's ahead. And then, you know, Mike has the discretion to give the secretaries a raise. So we tried to take that into factor because they haven't had a raise in 2 years. So,
Well, and I think, you know, one of the things that we've run into is, and both secretaries have been very good about it, is just other things that need doing that they just don't have. If we limit them to the 15 hours and the 13 or 14 hours, they just can't get it done. Things like cleaning up the ordinance and resolution books, getting the website better organized. We're trying to get Doug is trying to set up an emergency management page on the website. We're just running out of hours. So even if we didn't adjust their pay, we just need more hours. So
So you added 12,000 roughly for that.
for the
Two
entire
times two.
year, yes.
But including the two.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll come in under budget of that, but that was just
Well, I mean, it's 12,000 more than what we spent last year.
understood.
yes.
Well, now, we still have a pay period coming out, so it's going to be a
Okay.
little, we haven't paid them for
But that
September.
won't be on this budget, Mike.
Hmm?
That won't be on this budget. the
No, I
pay
don't know, I
period.
get, yeah, the cutoffs get confusing to me. Okay, any other categories?
One of the other things, guys, to explain a little more what we looked at, other than throwing darts at the wall. When we were reviewing last year's budget, where you saw a abundance of percentage that we haven't spent in some of these line items, that's kind of where we started looking at, well, if we didn't spend a lot in this line, maybe we could use the money and spread it out somewhere else. So that was another factor that we were looking at in doing the budget, was looking at how much was budgeted, but yet they left 63% in, in the budget. So that's kind of where we were also looking at to spread the money around.
I mean, ideally, the budget tracks our actual behavior over the course of the year. What I am focused on, obviously the budget, but even more than that is just us being as frugal as we can possibly be in areas other than road maintenance. I mean, those are the things that people seem to care about, right? We're going to need to spend more and more money on roads, and so we're trying to save. So I'm hoping to outperform in a lot of these areas, as in come in way under, so that part of what I want us to do over the next 2 years, at least that I'm sitting here, is to start building up a little bit of a bank account, right? Because when we start doing real road work, it's tens and fifties and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I want us to start accumulating as much as we can
Right.
by not spending it in these other categories. But we need to allocate a reasonable amount for these things so that we don't look like we had our eyes closed when we built this.
I have one more question. On 5,700 tech support, we budgeted 4,300 last year, spent 3,300. We're budgeting 6,800. Dale actually asked me the question, who is our tech support? Well,
I'll let Mike answer that one.
Scott, we have a gentleman by the name of Scott. His company name
Kerr.
escapes me, that's going to step in and help. He's been delayed a little bit with some
TrackerSoft.
health issues, but
So why are we spending more, just as a question, not challenge?
Sure. So what we found was that, well, number one, there wasn't any area in the previous budget that produced software or costs associated with software upgrades. We also found that there were things that, to abide by the cybersecurity and what we have paid for the insurance for cybersecurity, that we had to clean up our computers, which affects everything that you operate off of. Okay, so that's a cost, but we actually save money by going to a company. So this 68, what was it, 6,800?
6,000,
6,000. So that's anything that we foresee in the future that we might need as far as tech support.
Yeah, I can tell you, we've not done anything clever with bringing in
Yeah.
Microsoft or anybody. Mostly tech support is me,
Yeah.
working with Teresa and Ann. But we do have Scott lined up. He's going to come in and do all of our intrusion detection, all of the things that are required of our cybersecurity policy. We have to do some due diligence stuff to make sure that we're doing the basics so we don't file a claim because we just did a sloppy job. Again, I don't think we're going to spend that, but again, as Tracy said, we had software, QuickBooks. I mean, we've had some other things that we've had to spend a little money on, so.
Or that we need to spend money on.
okay. And my other questions, I think we discussed last time, I mean, one of them was the legal issues, which is a big question mark, so we can't really have any facts behind that right now, so the others, but anyway, the ones I raised were the ones that I caught.
Okay. Are you satisfied?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, legal, we
No,
don't,
you've done a great job.
Oh, thank you.
yeah, legal is like a, wow, I wished I could predict that number, you know.
Well, we can't. We talked about it
I
last
can
week.
tell you the routine legal has come down a lot. I mean, last month, we
Yes.
didn't even have a bill.
Yeah.
This month, the bill's $107. I mean, I am not talking to our lawyer any more than I absolutely have to. I'm using
Right.
TML lawyers, and we're writing our own ordinances. He's just, you know, approving, so this really is a just in case.
Yes.
You know, if the appeals court suddenly hears it and he's like, I got to go write a response, it's 10 grand. I
Well,
mean,
for now, I don't have any problem. I mean,
And we've never had money in the rainy day fund, and it's easier to move money from the rainy day fund
Uh-huh.
into other funds throughout the year than it is to take from a category and move, if
okay.
that makes sense.
Okay. Dale, you have anything else? I know your stuff got shorted a little bit, but again, we can,
Not really, I mean, we've got some funds in there for, you know, for the attorneys and engineers, so I think it's a place to start.
yeah, we had to get started, so. Terry?
Start.
Well, that was one thing, Dale, that we were considering as well, even as today, this afternoon. As you go on, I mean, we're still looking at the possibly, 4 months to really get something rolling in your area. That at that time, mid-year is usually what it's called, that if we're needing to do addendums, you know, in the budget anyway, that's where we too can offer that help and assistance and more funding.
Okay. Tracy?
We good?
I'm good.
Doug?
I'm good, sir.
Okay, so far, the only two changes we have to the proposed budget is the encumbered road fund balance has gone up. We've changed the town hall maintenance number
Ground maintenance.
to 3,500. And
That leaves us with $16,546.28.
well, and let's hear from the public, and then I want to come back into the conversation and talk about moving both the excess from tonight's discussion into rainy day, but also pre-approving moving any other money left over at the end of the year into the rainy day also. And we wouldn't get an accounting of that until next meeting, but I'd like to have pre-authorization for Teresa to move any other funds over into that rainy day. Okay, we're going to open it up. Laura, did anybody sign up for budget hearing?
She's not paying attention.
Laura, did anybody sign up for budget hearing? Okay, well, would anybody like to speak to the budget hearing part? You're welcome to step up and ask questions or... Oh my gosh, see, praying works. I prayed on the way here. Not that y'all would be quiet, but that this would go smoothly,
Yes.
so thank you.
People don't like numbers anyway.
Okay, so let's help us with the math here, Teresa, because I don't want to have a special meeting because we were off by 10 cents. So if we increase 6,200 to 3,500, so what is that, $1,800?
Where's that?
Yep.
Yes.
That is 6,200, so we added $1,800 there. We increased the road fund prior to the new amount of $91,065.28. $91,065.28. Okay, so what do we have left over that we're going to move to rainy day at the end of those transactions?
Do you have your calculator?
So I guess, Terry, it's your 11,046.28 minus
1,800.
1,800. What is that?
$9,246.28.
9,000. Can you repeat that, Councilmember?
$9,246.28. And while we're talking about rainy day, remind me why we have two rainy days, 6650, 6655.
We had a weather one we created,
Yeah.
right, Tracy?
Yes.
Can we refresh me why?
Well, the reason I did that is if there were an emergency, we would need funds to run town hall. If it totally got destroyed, we'd still have to pay our bills. So that would give us an average of 3 or 4 days running cost.
In the event of a weather something.
Yeah, catastrophe.
So these funds, Mike, you're asking us to put in an account 6650.
6650, so we're
Yes.
going to add it to 6650. We are currently showing 2,500. So we're going to add 924628.
So it's 11,000 something?
Yes. $11,746.28.
$11,046.20.
$11,746.28.
Okay.
Okay. Teresa, does that sound right? Can you do math on the fly?
11,046.28.
11,746.28 cents.
46.
And you're moving 1,800
Uh,
to 66.
Yes.
We're moving 1,800 plus $9,246.28.
Yes.
So that number's right?
I need to check your calculator, Tracy.
Here.
Sorry, my phone. I turned my phone off. I apologize. I didn't want it ringing.
Yeah, I just want to get it right. I don't want a technicality that forces us to come back to the table.
So our beginning number was what, Terry?
11,000.
$46.28
Right. 90, so of that, 1,800
came out,
for
1,800
grounds,
was allocated into
to
the,
grounds maintenance.
grounds maintenance.
yes,
And then
remaining balance.
4610 to rainy day.
That's correct.
That's correct.
How much to the rainy day?
9246.28
92.46.
and 28 cents.
Yeah. Okay.
Excuse my screen.
Well, but it already, we're adding that. But it has 2,500, so the new total for rainy day is 11,746.28 cents.
No, no. So you're adding,
No, that's where I was getting confused, sorry.
We're adding $9,246.28
to the 3,000.
to 2,500.
To the 2,500.
Yeah.
There's
it
a
just
joke
ends
in
up
here
that
somewhere.
it's-
So it's 11,746.28 cents. Okay. So that is the new rainy day fund 2526, which is category 6650 number.
And then the only account that would change would be the rainy day fund with any excess from the next road encumbers number, correct?
Right, so we're going to do a couple of votes here. So let's first off, let's do a vote to allocate any excess funds at September close. They will be put into 6650, right, which will give us a new balance that we'll see in our October meeting. So do I have a motion to pre-approve that for Teresa?
Yeah. I'll make a motion.
Okay, Tom makes the motion.
And I'll second the motion.
Okay. Again, the motion is made by Tom, seconded by Tracy, is to take any unspent funds at the September close and move those into the rainy day fund 6650, which will grow that amount. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have unanimous, so that passes. Okay. And then I'm going to ask for a motion and second on approving the budget with the, I'm going to call it 3 changes because we changed the encumbered balance to what it really is. We've changed the ground maintenance and we've changed the rainy day. And we've already gone over the numbers, so I don't need to repeat those. Do I have a motion to make that?
Make the motion, we accept the budget with those adjustments.
Okay, so Tom makes a motion with the amendments. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Doug is seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Okay, and the final request is for the ordinance, which was included, and basically, I don't know if the ordinance needs to be voted on or not, but we're going to vote on it. Oh, wait a minute.
Yes, because
Back
this is
up.
the reporting.
Okay, I have to capture,
Yes.
well, this is going to be easy, right? So who voted individually? So Terry was an aye, Tom was an aye, Tracy was an aye, Dale was an aye, Doug was an aye. I don't count. Okay. Is that a good sign? Okay, shooting at a Christian school, that's a little scary. Okay, so I'm going to assume that we need to vote on this ordinance, so I'm going to go ahead and call for one. If it's unnecessary, we'll have it and not use it. So I'm asking for a motion and a second to approve the ordinance, which basically adopts the budget for fiscal year 25-26. That'll begin October 1st and end September 30th, 2026. So I have a motion to approve that
Make
ordinance.
a motion, we approve the budget.
Okay, so
No,
Tom,
ordinance.
right, Tom makes a motion that we approve the ordinance. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Tracy, good for a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you, council. Okay, very good. Well, that's a load off our backs. Thank you to everyone for the hard work.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, mostly Tracy and Doug.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah, thank you.
I think I drove Mike crazy during the
no, you
process.
didn't do any such thing. I appreciate you guys' passion and hard work, and it's,
And Teresa.
Yes,
and
was a
Teresa,
good
and
job.
everybody's had a little part in this, and I appreciate it very much. And, you know, I look forward to the next budget cycle. We're going to start earlier. We've already talked about that, and various clumps of us, but I think we're going to be a lot smarter, right? Every year that the town exists, we're going to get better. So I think over the last 4 years, we've gotten money coming in. We've been good about, you know, not spending more than we need to, and I think we're just going to keep improving. So,
Yeah. And my hope is, at the end, when the new election happens, that the next council would already somewhat have their budget ready, so they wouldn't be kind of, because we were kind of behind a little bit, though we knew we needed to get on it. But I want the next council that comes in to say, okay, they've already got a lot of this done for us. We see it here in the books that we've got this budget already started, and so they could just take it and run with it.
Okay.
yep. Okay, so we didn't take an hour. That's a good thing. So what's the pleasure of council? Do we need a quick break, or do we want to just keep going?
I'd soon keep going,
Keep going?
finish earlier.
We get out of here while the sun's out? I'm good with that. Okay, so we're officially closing out the budget public hearing at 6:07. I'm going to call it done. We've got all the votes that we need. We've got a budget. Teresa and I will take care of getting that filed at the 2 courthouses after we, of course, make the changes, and we are done. We're good to go into the new year fiscally, so.
Mayor,
Mike,
the suggestion,
one-
Mayor, would you want to wait just a little while in case some of the citizens do come from
Yeah,
6:30?
I was going to say, item number
wait.
1, there are people that wanted to speak, thinking it wouldn't start till 6:30.
So we have to take a break.
So what? So,
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll take a break.
sorry.
Okay,
Excuse myself.
we're going to take a break. I guess it's going to be a little long-winded at 6:07. We'll come back 6:20-something, so nobody leave the property. You got to stay here, except Teresa. You're welcome to leave. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's right. You're being sequestered, but we're not putting you in a motel. You're just going to have to stay here.
And then, hey, Teresa.
all right, I'll see you tomorrow,
Thank
Hey,
you, Teresa.
Teresa,
or Monday,
Teresa.
or Tuesday.
I do think so. Yeah, we can work on that. I'll bring my own like Tracy. God did give me a very, very good one. You got a baby butt. Hello. You know, I'm okay either way. You just let it roll. Just let it roll.
You know, Mike did a lot of research on 2450. Did you see all that?
Oh, yeah, yeah, 2450 had to, yeah. It's a mess, huh?
Well, it clarifies it.
Yeah, it does. No, yeah, I got it and ran through it. I thought it was good work, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not gonna make people happy, but I guess the only question, that's just, the question to me is, well, what can they do? I said, well, the one thing I think is they can appeal to the county to take it on as a road. Now, I don't know the process for doing that.
Yeah,
How you do it.
yeah, they're so under budgeted for roads. Normally, it's been my experience when you have, private subdivisions and they make the roads private and HOA. Obviously the problem is they never institute enough dues because your expense is not now. Your expense is going to be in 10 years when you got to replace the road. Come down, yeah. And so they never have the fund, just like Poetry Water. How much money you got? Poetry Water, there's like $2 million. And we went to, why wouldn't we do that? Well, that's for down the road when these lines start breaking and rusting out, and they already have, yeah. So, yeah, that's,
You know, that area where we're going to look, looking at that house last Sunday, just before you get there, there's a bridge. This is maybe 5 years ago, there was a big break there, big. Wow. In the winter, everything was going wrong, and Philip said, they didn't find it, they looked, they couldn't find it. And somebody was driving by there and saw it. And told Philip, but he said, because I checked this check with him, I still know where it is.
Yeah.
Well, it was right at that ditch, and the erosion, movement of the dirt, and rocks, and everything, and how it went through it. Well, they had to replace it. It wasn't a huge section.
yeah.
But right where I am going down Bridge Road, the water pressure down at Trails End and 2450 and all that comes right by our property. It comes on 2434, the main line turns, makes a T, goes down Bridge Road, under the bridge, and it goes to Trails End and all that property back there. Well, they had to come in, and add a whole new line because
Yeah, it's easier to add a new one than try to repair
that was
a junkie. Yeah.
well, they looped it, and so
get water from both directions.
Well, it's
Yeah.
the same direction, but it's 2 miles.
Yeah.
Now, unless they made a change, you know, that was the plan, was to do this. But they put in a much, much bigger one. And so, when I walked, well, it was 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, is when my wife bought that place across the street, that they have to do one. The big one, I saw it, because they had to dig it out, and the old one was 6 inch. And the new one is, I don't think it's 12 inches, but it's 10 inches or something like that. It's a lot more.
Pressure.
And so, yeah, but they had to do it for the people at the other end who were complaining that they didn't have to. Anyway, yeah, those things have to happen.
Yeah, and so that's what happened. The HOA, they never did do that. Now they don't have any money. Normally what happens is, okay, you want whoever, whether it's the town or county or someone to take over your roads, bring them up to standard one time, and then we take them over. That's generally how it's done. But the problem is, by the time they try to figure out what to do, the condition is so bad.
Which is like Bridge Road.
Right.
And then the bridge.
And what are you gonna do with the bridge? What's that bridge, what did that cost to change out that bridge?
Well, that was the reason when they applied to do there was something called an Old Bridge Association, which we all figured $100.
Right.
Well, not all of it.
Right, that was the problem.
But anyway, then a bridge was owned by, at the time, half by Bob Hancock, half by somebody else on the other side. And the county wouldn't take it over, the liability was too high. So Bob ended up buying the other side so that he could block off the whole thing. And Bob makes the guidance system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty critical thing. Sold it for he was worried about it getting accident, somebody cratering the bridge. Well, sure enough, a lumber truck or something heavy tried to go over it, and they cratered the supports of the house. And that was his. It wasn't an individual, nobody got hurt or anything. But Bob was sitting there on a nice chunk of money.
I mean,
He sold his
sure.
business, fell through. And so he's thinking, oh my God, if somebody gets hurt, they're gonna sue them.
Yeah, lose it all. Well, and that's where the effort would have been, okay, let's make this a public road instead of private, and figure out, you know, and like I said, he had the money, you know, he could have thrown, you know, $500,000 to it.
Do it because of the bridge.
Okay, so that's my point.
Structurally, it wasn't up
Right.
with the state standards.
Right. Now, we can go to the state, TxDOT. In fact, believe it or not, I've already checked with TxDOT to check all of our bridges. If, is how it works, if TxDOT installed the bridge and it's now a county road, then they will come back and replace that bridge.
bad. That's not it. That's not it. Estimated value, not the only word, that's gonna be for CAD. Yeah, what's the listing price, so.
Go buy it, rent the house out.
I'm cash poor right now. I can have my real estate agent look at it tomorrow. I can't do that.
It doesn't take long.
Dan told me to give each of you one of these, I guess if you ever do any events, that's
Oh,
what we
okay.
want to try to.
What time's the farm market? Saturday?
I can do
8:30.
this if I have y'all's check.
You guys do any volunteer work? And what you just have that section, so I can say I gave it to you now.
You can say that.
David, Dale, would you turn your mic on? I turned it off because you were talking. I didn't want you to.
Hot mic you.
Yeah, I didn't want somebody to soundbite you. I heard Dale saying this. Okay. Whoa, that's a little too hot.
I got it.
Okay, we'll honor the 1 hour thing, so we're about a minute and a half away, but heads up. So far, I only have 2 people signed up to speak, Herbert and Candy. Laura? Laura? Do we have anybody signed up for anything?
Yeah, Mike, I signed up for Lutz. They asked me to, for item number 1,
Okay,
because they weren't going to get here till 6:30.
okay, that's fine. Well, we're not going to start till 6:30, but that's only a minute and a half away.
Test 1, 2. Yep, works.
Thank you, ma'am. That's okay.
But I guess, Mike, before we get to the agenda, we still got consent items and
Yes,
other stuff we could do.
yeah. Yeah, we're going to go, well, we'll just do the 6:30. I don't know that I'm obligated to put on there how long any portion of the meeting is going to happen. I just want to give people an idea. So if they don't want to come for the part that's not interesting, they don't. So I just guessed an hour, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were
No,
going to be
it-
more argumentative, but you just were, everybody's just like cooperating, so. We knocked it out, that was good.
Yeah.
Okay, 60 seconds. Everybody get excited. Okay. The time is 6:30. It's still Thursday, September 18th, 2025. We're still at the Poetry School, and we're still having our September council meeting. We took a little break after our budget hearing, and out of respect for people that might have thought we weren't going to start this part till 6:30, we're starting back at 6:30. So if you're watching the video, I'm sorry for 20 minutes of nothing, but you'll figure it out. Okay, so we're going to jump into, we've already got quorum and everything else, so we've got a valid meeting. Items of community interest, and I'll just repeat these every week because I think they're worth repeating. I want to thank David Emard for helping us with the sound and video. I want to thank the Lehue family, including their young daughter Zoe, for being willing to come in early and help us set the room up and just things that are important and help me and the council in a big way. So very appreciative of them. Of course, to Poetry Community Christian School for allowing us to use their space so generously. When I came in today, I got here a little early. There was like a basketball game going on, and I thought, uh-oh, that's going to be awkward. Anyway, it was just practice, so it wasn't a big deal. And this is items of community interest also, so I do want to mention the farmers market. We've got some folks in our town who I very much appreciate who are trying to get some community things going. There's, I don't know, they're starting up some kind of a bingo thing. I think it's going to be here at the school. I don't know anything about that. Check on Facebook and maybe you can figure it out. But I do know there's a farmer's market here at the Poetry School this coming Saturday. It starts at 8:30. And my understanding is a number of the people that are going to be at the farmer's market as vendors are people from the community, Michelle Kirby and others that make things and do things. So Mayor Mike will definitely be there with the First Lady, and I'm looking forward to
I'll be there too,
to that. Yeah, she don't like it when I say that.
with the first band.
Anyway, again, I do appreciate, you know, one of the things I love about poetry, and probably many of you do, is just kind of how we get together and work together and all of that. I mean, I think this represents the good side of poetry. And I appreciate the people that are doing the work to do that. And then a shout out to Secretary Teresa, if she's still listening, who came in the other day and weeded the rose bushes and things out in front of the town hall. So I very much appreciate that. We've kind of got a good spirit going, I think, among the council and the secretaries and myself. We're all just kind of pitching in to do what we need to do, and I appreciate people's willingness to, you know, I've always in my leadership roles been the one that was willing to go do it first, just to kind of show the people that were reporting to me that I'm not too good to do that. So thank you, Teresa, for coming in and pulling weeds. I did offer to spray them, but we probably would have sacrificed the rose bushes because my spraying is not that detailed. Okay, so we're going to move into reports, financial reports. We have, let's see, our P&L budget to actual. Of course, we've talked a lot about that, so I don't know that anybody's got anything on that. I will point out, if you haven't already noticed, that we added a roads escrow account report that's new, and this will develop over time, but it just kind of gives you a general idea for the two counties that we're working with, where we stand. So in the case of Kaufman County, remember we put $5,000 on account. We repaired 249, did some edge repair and pothole repair for a total of $2,100. So we've got a balance of $2,900 with them. And then for Hunt County, we've got a little bit more money. We actually haven't touched any of our 5,000 yet because they gave us a credit on some work that they did back when we did, I don't know, it was like a $55,000 deal, and there was some misunderstanding on areas being done, and so David, the commissioner, very kindly gave us a little bit of credit back. So we've actually got a little bit more on account with Hunt County, but trust me, Terry and I and Tom are working on ways to spend that because our roads desperately need work. Do we have any questions from anybody on any of the finance reports? You know, I like to think, and of course for the viewers and the folks in the audience, we are working hard, not just me, but everybody, to be absolutely transparent. And I can't speak for other towns because I've never been on a council or mayor for those other towns, but this is it. I mean, the only other thing I could give you is a login to QuickBooks, but basically you're seeing everything that's going on in the town. I mean, every check we write, every expense we make. I mean, there's a lot of detail, and as I've said a couple of times, this information is coming straight out of QuickBooks. We're not rekeying this, we're not retyping, so it is accurate to our financial system. Okay, hearing no questions on finance, roads and traffic. We're going to talk a little bit more during the regular agenda on that. We've done not a whole lot of work on roads since the last meeting. They did a little repair down the road from Tom there the other day on his road, but that was not a biggie, and that was in the county. That wasn't one that we paid for. But we'll talk here in a little bit about some things that we've got in mind because we need to make some significant progress on a number of our roads. Traffic, still, you know, working with the constable and sheriff's department to continue patrolling, especially 249. That's our little speedway around here. And best I can tell, they're succeeding. They're writing tickets, I guess generating money for the county, and letting people know that, you know, we're out there and the speed limit's 35, and you need to obey that. So best I know, unless somebody's heard otherwise, I think we're making some progress on that. And then we'll do staff reports or individual stuff here in a second. Let me throw in, because I just don't want to forget it. We have completely migrated to QuickBooks Online. That's something we brought to the council several months ago, is one of our initiatives. So we are 100% on QuickBooks Online. It's going very well. We did our first payroll on QuickBooks this last month. That went flawless. QuickBooks, it basically brought all of the information out of our payroll company that we were using, Gusto, right into QuickBooks, and they figured out how much taxes we had paid and what we owed, and I mean, it was just seamless. Everything just worked perfect. And the secretaries actually got their paychecks even faster because the other service had a mandatory delay. QuickBooks doesn't. I mean, as soon as I press go, they grab money and give money, so it's working very well. We've got one little loose end on that. Like a lot of software companies, they offer you a discount for like 3 months if you'll try all the premium products, and we went ahead and took it, but we wrote on the calendar, cancel here, right? So we're in the process of like dropping down to the packages that I committed to council on. So we will be on the correct packages, but being on the premium helped us a little bit with the migration because it gave us access to free support and some other services. They're hoping we'll stay there, but we're not going to, so surprise to them. Okay, Mayor and Council activity updates. I'm talking a lot, so I'll try to keep it short. The budget was a big time eater for me over the last month, not just working with Doug and Tracy on putting it together. They did a lot of the heavy lifting, but more on making sure the process was done correctly, right? So, you know, talking with TML lawyers, talking with our lawyer, because, you know, I know how we've done it in the past, but I wanted to make sure we weren't repeating mistakes in any way, and we did not. We did exactly what we were supposed to do tonight. So, other than that, I'm taking phone calls, you know, out looking at roads and just kind of keeping things busy. Doug, you want to lead off at your end there?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Now that the budget is put to bed, if you will, that doesn't mean that we're going to idle for a while. We're always out in the community looking at roads and also having conversations along the way of seeing what anybody else needs and can help with. And at the city secretary, she notified me today that she's got pretty much things in line for posting emergency management tab, if you will. I call it a tab online. So that way I can start putting things within that tab to keep the community involved. I know we've got some communication notifications that we can have through Kaufman County. So directions how we can, you know, sign up for that. And again, just helping everybody else right now. So kind of parachute down from the budget, and now we get back on to fighting another battle.
Very good. Thank you, Doug. Tracy?
So I will continue to work on next year's budget throughout the year. Now that I have a good copy of the planning and zoning, I've been really kind of going over it. Just kind of see things from my perspective. But yeah, I'm probably going to start helping Mike with the ordinances and resolutions that are online and make sure that they're titled correctly. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem?
We'll speak pretty detailed later on roads and traffic, and I've spent the majority of my time this month working with commissioners. Ate lunch with them the other day, kind of a group effort, shared kind of our vision, and of course, just extended a thank you from all of us in our town to them. So we did some riding around, some evaluating, some things that we could repair, such as ditches and stuff that could save our roads. So there'll be more details about that later. And then, of course, reviewing some stuff that Dale was probably gonna speak on.
Okay, Tom?
Yeah, I guess the road issues is something that is taking some time riding around, but we'll talk about it. But the one I think would be interesting for people to know is Bishop Field, the status of that, the mud and the tanks, the underground tanks that they have, petroleum storage tanks. And so every time I drive by, I watch to see if there's any change. I check the website, TCQ website, haven't found anything changed since the last few months. But then Stephanie Rankin sent me an email and asked if I had anything official. So I went ahead and I talked to Elizabeth Vanderwerken several times this year, both email and on the phone. But she's with the Petroleum Storage Tank and ER Program Liaison, TCQ, Program Support, Environmental Assistant Division, Office of Compliance and Enforcement. And what I asked her, the question basically that Stephanie asked me, any update on either the mud application or the tanks. And what she replied back, and I'll just read it so it's clear. Elizabeth Vanderwerken said, I checked with the regional staff and the application, which is the mud. There hasn't been any further communication with the region, and the mud application is still in the review process in our database. I will look for a point of contact with mud review team, see if they have any further information. Well, that was a week ago, more than a week ago, and I haven't heard back from her, but I've been checking and I haven't seen anything. So for whatever reason, that the two owners of the Ben Pogue and Ray Eckenrode don't seem to have been pursuing anything this summer. So we don't know, things might just pop up, but anyway, Elizabeth is a good contact, and she's one that's actually somewhat on our side. And she's been, of all the people in TCQ, she's the most responsive and answers emails, answers questions, and when I call her, she answers straight out. So I'll keep following up, and if there's obviously anything that happens, well, I'll bring it to the attention of the town and council.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Dale?
Okay, let's see. Am I on?
You're turned off.
Gotta turn the power on. All right. Projects I've been working on, primarily with TxDOT for Hunt County on our signage project. I've been over to Paris and meeting with the engineers a couple of times. I've been to a couple of webinars about that whole process. They have sent me sample plans of what they do, signage. I have all of their signage standards that we can approach, and where the mayor's asked, if we're gonna build signs, let's do it right with the breakaway signage and everything. So we have all that information. I've got all of that on my computer at home, but like I was looking at it to print it out, it was over 400 pages. I haven't printed that out yet, but if you'll need any of that kind of information, just let me know. The good news is last fiscal year, they had $200,000 for the Paris district, which we're part of, or Hunt County is part of, and they did not spend all that money. This period, this next period, which is called 2026, there's $250,000. So it's looking good for us to be able to get some of that funding for our roads. They've been real helpful to me. They've contacted me. They've asked for all kinds of information. So that's telling me that, hey, maybe we got a shot at this. And this is the part of the traffic safety improvement project. Okay, you think text about, well, why are they going to mess with county roads, a small town? It's a division of that whole process. So they set aside funds for the small communities, which is us. So we've got money. They seem to be real helpful. There's some more seminars coming. And then I've given them the, remember the spreadsheet I handed out with all of the signage? I haven't heard anything from you guys, so I'm assuming y'all agree?
Sounds good to me.
Make it happen.
Look good to me.
We got a screwdriver. We'll move around if we need to.
Well, but if you, we still have some time, but if you see anything that we're missing, especially on street sign. The biggest thing I see right now, that, and we've talked about a couple of us, is private roads versus county roads or town roads. And some of, we're still trying to find find bottom
Well,
on
we
a couple of
triple
those.
check with our lawyer, but again, if the signage is at the point of the town,
Right.
it needs to be there for safety reasons. We're
Correct.
not gonna put signs down a private road, but at the head end,
Correct.
we need to
Well,
have a sign.
and one question along that lines, I'm now in the middle of doing all of the warning signs, and this would be at T intersections, culverts, bridges, where you put the little reflective stakes. And I agree with you on the private roads, we generally don't want to go down the privates beyond the stop sign. But is that something, if there's a deep culvert or bridge, is that something we want to put in at the county road or at the private road level? So that's just
I don't
something
think
we can talk about.
to me, the law is pretty clear on spending taxpayer dollars on private property. I mean,
Okay.
we can't do that. I mean, it's not that we can't encourage the people to live on those roads, but those roads are like private driveways. I mean, they're not
Yeah.
anything that we'd
Yeah.
be trespassing, in fact, if we went in there without their permission, so.
And that's fine, that's why I'm asking the question, whether we want to
Yep.
mess with a thing like that. Let's see, I'm also kind of working with, when we get inquiries, someone wants to build a house, they call in, I go out and usually meet with them, look at their site plans, and kind of tell them all the do's and don'ts, make sure they've seen the zoning ordinance, and look at setbacks and things like that. And that's been real helpful, and it's pretty busy, but I've enjoyed it, just meeting with new citizens coming into town. And we have probably 4 or 5 open files right now. I mean, there's more going on with people coming to poetry and wanting to do things in poetry than what you would think. So that's coming on, and that's why I'm kind of taking on this P&Z, kind of tweaking the P&Z ordinance and things so that because we're out there operating, talking to people without any real clear policies and procedures. But it's going well. And let's see, met with the engineers, we have some proposals and things from them. And again, if you have any issues on warning signs, let me know on the website so we can get those intersections. What our approach is with TxDOT, we're going to throw in everything in the kitchen sink and just see what sticks. So we're going with any kind of sign that you think we might need, let us know. Done.
Okay, thank you, Dale. And I was commenting, I think, to Terry today, but it could have been somebody else. For those of you who drive around the Kaufman part of Poetry on the state roads, 986 especially, clearly TxDOT, I think it's probably part of this initiative, has replaced the signage, the poles, the signs, everything at the intersections. They've got brand new poles, they've got reflective tape all the way down the pole, they've got brand new stop signs. These are the intersecting roads to 986. And then they've got a big sign up top that says cross traffic doesn't stop, reminding you you're pulling out onto an active road. I mean, they're incredible. The signs are like really nice. Now, I'm not seeing that in Hunt County, but again, Hunt County TxDOT is a different office than Kaufman. So one of the things I have on my list is I want to call the Hunt County guys and say, hey, I want you to do what the Kaufman guys are doing, because that's very nice to remind people. Like Sue and I live by the wedding venue, and some of those people come out of that wedding venue, they're not used to the country, they have no idea where they are, and they just whip out onto the road.
Yep.
And it'd be nice to have like bigger, more vibrant signs, so, anyway. Okay, we move into the consent agenda, and we have 3 items on there tonight, approving the minutes, which are in the packet. Thank you, Tom, again, for proofreading those. It's making these meetings and minutes go a whole lot more smoothly. We have the Nichols-Jackson legal bill. Again, it's $107 now. In transparency, I will tell you I've already paid that bill, but I felt obligated to put it on the agenda because it's such a small amount. I just told Teresa to pay it the other day, but you'll vote on it here in a minute. If you change your mind, I'll tell her to ask him for the money back. And then we have a TML workers' comp renewal that kind of came up at the last second. That was something we just barely missed getting in time for last month's meeting, and because I'm trying not to do special meetings, that's on this agenda. And that's our insurance renewal for our workers' comp. It's $1,075. So do we have any motions on approving the consent agenda items?
Make a motion, we accept the 3 items.
Yeah, I second.
Nope, nope. Okay, Tracy, were you a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tom was a motion, Tracy was a second. All in favor of approving the 3 items on the consent agenda?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, council. Yeah, the idea of the consent agenda is it speeds things up. You don't want to break them out. We can always move them if you want discussion, but otherwise they stay there. Okay, we're moving into the regular agenda portion of the meeting. First item up, discuss and take action as necessary on the status of County Road 2450 in Trojan Horse Estates and Troy Road and Greco Estates. We have, let's see, one person, Ryan and Heather Lutz. Ryan and Heather, anyway, we'll invite you up in just a moment. Let us get the conversation started. To give a little background, and I'm trying to include that on the agenda, hopefully you value that. It helps me. We've got a number of citizens that live on that road. It's labeled 2450, Hunt County Road 2450 at 1565. So one would think it's 2450 for the entirety of the road. And so some citizens that live further back on the road had started reaching out to myself and Terry and others in the council about working on their road, thought maybe they had seen county people out there on portions of it in the past, could we help them, so on and so forth. And so that set off this little journey of Terry and I and some others of, okay, well, let's figure this out. And the information that I uncovered, very grateful both to the Hunt County Commissioners Court, because all their minutes are online, so I didn't even have to leave the house to look things up, and also to the Hunt County Courthouse, who incredibly have every record they've ever handled online. I mean, they're searchable, they're downloadable, there's no fees. I mean, it was amazing. I thought I was going to be at the courthouse arguing with some lady at the counter all day long, and I just sat in my chair for a couple hours and pulled up just a ton of information. And basically, what I uncovered was that little section of town was developed in 3 phases. So there was Trojan Horse Estates Phase 1, Trojan Horse Estates Phase 2, and then Greco Estates. And Trojan was first. It's right there at 1565. And when you drive down the road, you see kind of a culvert, or not a culvert, but a cul-de-sac, right? There's like a wide, it's like, why would somebody put a circle in the middle of the road? Well, that was the end of Trojan Horse Estates. And then when they started developing Greco, they just went from the culvert to the cul-de-sac back and continued on. And you can see in the records, and these are in the packet, where the documents were presented to the Hunt County Court to approve Trojan Horse Estates, and it was approved for development with all the platting and all. And in the document, as I think I pointed out here, it talks about it says, being Trojan Horse Estates, to the County of Hunt, dedicate to the public use forever all streets, alleys, parks, watercourses, drains, easements, and public places. And of course, the judge signed this. So the judge accepted the road that went up into Trojan Horse Estates. And so you can see that, and then later you see a set of minutes that I provided where the county basically did an inspection on the road and accepted responsibility for that first piece of road back to that cul-de-sac. Well, then you go forward in time, not too very long, and you see where the Greco Estates folks presented their plat to the court, and it was approved. And you see in the language on that, it's different. It says, where is it? It says, dedicate to the public use forever all alleys, parks, watercourses, drains, easement, and public places as shown on said plat, for the purposes and consideration therein expressed. So what is missing from that language is streets. And I believe the reason it's missing, if you look at the documents establishing Greco, including the homeowners association document, it clearly says there is no assurance that the county will take over this road. We are planning and intending it be managed by the citizens that live along, and here's how much money they're supposed to spend or pay each year or whatever. And I found nowhere in the Commissioner Court records, I saw the one failed attempt that's in the packet here where some private person, I believe he's a private person, got on the agenda and went to the council about accepting the road, and you'll notice that the result of that was no action taken. It says discussion with Charles Basham, I don't know the gentleman, in regards to upgrading the road and Greco Estates and possibilities of having the county take over the private road, no action taken.
That was the Commissioner's Court, not county.
That's correct. That's the last entry I found at the courthouse that had anything to do with Greco Estates. So my belief, having gone through that journey, is that the first part of that road is public and the responsibility of our town, and we can spend tax dollars on it, but the balance of that road from that first cul-de-sac back is a private road, and we cannot legally spend money on it. Now, I will say, Terry has been talking to people, I've been talking to people, others may have. I did meet with 3 of them that live back there yesterday and offered that I would personally, not as the mayor, but as Mike Jaffe, be willing to help them, you know, go pick up loads of asphalt with my truck and trailer and see if we could get some volunteers that would be willing to help our fellow Poetry citizens, but we can't do that as a town venture, and we certainly can't run any of the money through the town. They would have to get their own money, pay the asphalt plant directly, and then I will volunteer my truck and trailer and try to get some people with shovels to help out. But I believe that's as much as we can do. I think there is the possibility, but I don't think it's even worth conversation, where, you know, the landowners can all agree to donate the road and right-of-way. They would have to resurvey all their property to the town, and then the town could decide whether they wanted it. I can't imagine why we would even go through that process, because we have no money to spend on it. I don't think we could help them anymore, and they'd be giving up, you know, land that they currently own. So, council, thoughts?
So when that was split, when the last part of that subdivision was split, were they given a cost estimate as to the upkeep of the road, and what is that?
Well, the HO, in the documents I gave you, there's a copy of the Greco HOA
Yeah.
agreement, and it mentions in there a money amount, but it's like $100 a year or something. It's not a lot.
Okay.
I mean, it ain't gonna fix a lot of road.
No.
Maybe it seemed like a lot when the road was new, but it's not a lot of road or not a lot of money anymore, so. And it sounds like, based on talking with some of the citizens that live on that road, it sounds like the HOA was functional for a little while and then just kind of fell apart. I mean, it's, you know, HOAs, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about them, but, you know, apparently there's not a lot of way to enforce it, so people that don't want to participate aren't, and
Okay, so Mayor, do you think there's any chance that they would be willing to upgrade the road and then dedicate it? That's
Well-
normally how it's done.
Well, I would think that the HOA, they need to form some type of HOA to find out what the cost of just us taking our time and our trucks and trailers and getting that
Yeah,
done.
'cause-
They need to bring a cost to us. Or
Well,
not necessarily a cost to us,
No,
but they need to know
would
what they're gonna
upgrade-
spend.
They would repair the road to some level.
Right.
We may have to decide what level that is, and before we would even consider taking it over. I mean, they are citizens.
Yes.
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
And so if they would want to, I mean, my feelings are if they would want to go to that expense to bring it up to some standard that we could agree to, and then we accept it, and just like in the minutes, the county accepted the roads before, then accept it. Is
Well,
that something that would be open to discussion?
I can step in a little bit. I do have, and live on one of those roads, a private road. We were told back then, if it was a county, then we'd have to go in there and maintain our ditches and stuff at our cost. So that's additional cost to those residents that you're saying, if it's required. I think as we get on and start talking our roads, and we're talking about drainage and things like that later on tonight, you know, we may be opening ourselves up another road that we are not going to be able to maintain to their specifications. Again, I live on one of those roads. It's it's a half mile, 22 feet wide, and to do it properly, we're talking $80,000 to $100,000.
Okay.
And so, but my suggestion, Dale, and I'll shut up, just to show these people that we do want to do the best we can, and on the city side of where it starts and stops, maybe we can put a dead-end sign, dead-end road, so that way, you know, if they do start looking at trying to fix their road, we'll hopefully maybe keep some of their traffic, private road, dead-end, you know, something like that on our side that maybe avoid some of the traffic going down there.
Yeah, there's no question the road is a mess.
Yeah.
It's after you get
It's
past
horrible.
the county maintained, it's just,
Yeah.
it's a mess.
But,
And-
but
So if they wanted to appeal to get it taken care of, it would be to Poetry, not to Hunt County.
Poetry, that's right.
Well, and by the way, one of the Lutes who live on there, and they were supposed to be here, but I guess they're tied up. Anyway, they gave me the copy of their part of the title information, and it says real clearly on it, it's in Greco Estates, and it says roads, all roads are to be maintained by property owner, no county funds.
Yeah.
Now, they've been on it for,
Yeah, and that's in the
7, 8
documentation I
years.
provided also.
so that's all consistent with everything we're saying. But they're only out, I guess, if, as Dale said it, to me, the only two things they could do is, one is fix it up themselves, and then secondly, fix it up and appeal to the town of Poetry to
Yeah.
take it over.
Yeah, I think to me, I don't know, I don't want to render too much judgment on this, but, you know, I think it's getting everybody up and down the road on the same page and willing to contribute. I mean, you just got different people, you know, on different,
But-
you know, whatevers, and it's just hard, you know, I mean, it's hard, and so I think if they come up with a plan, to your point, typically when the county assumes a road, they will tell you, you bring it up to this standard, and once we agree that it's up to that standard, we'll take it over. What we do not want is something that's gonna be a money pit, because they've got enough work, they don't need to do that. So, and I just don't think, I think we can do some short-term, just as private citizens, we can go rally and help them a little bit, but longer term, hopefully somebody on that portion of the road maybe can rally the neighbors and get them behind doing something, because it's gonna take money. Or, you know, the other option I suggested was they bring somebody in there with a grinder and just grind that road up and just blade it. But I suspect there's people living on that road now, as there are on our other roads, that don't like dust and they don't like, you know, whatever, and you would be
Well,
adding a lot of that.
as much as I hate to say this, you know, we want to help everybody, but they're not the only private road in town. And we've kind of gone down that hole a little bit to say that they have to take care of their roads if they're a private road. As much as I would like to take care of it, we can't legally, but we can certainly, as individual citizens, assist.
Yeah. And I'm all for that, I think, to Terry's point. I mean, they're paying trash can fees, and they're paying sales tax,
Yes.
and they're paying electric meter fees. But, yeah, we can't legally, I mean, we're handcuffed in this way, so.
We got a bid for our road just last week to ground it up like that, $8,000. So, I mean, that's just one bid, so.
Yeah.
Is that grinding
but what
it
kind
and
of
spreading it?
support from the citizens on
But
the
it's gonna
road?
leave the dust anyway, so
Yeah.
I mean, does everybody on the road agree to that, Doug?
we haven't decided.
Yeah, it gets complicated really fast, so.
We've been talking about roads for the last 20 years.
Well, I drove that road among others, and what appears to me to be the problem is the water flowing over it.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
there are places that it's perfectly fine, 2450 I'm talking about now, where then there's places where the water obviously overflowed, and, floods, and that's where you really see the deterioration, and it's just going to get worse.
Well, and we, the town of Poetry, we are going to take care of the part that we have the ability to take care of, right? So it's on the list of roads that are going to be potholed and repaired and all of that. So up to that cul-de-sac, it will be taken care of.
And I
To the
would
best of our
venture to say
ability.
that that's probably one of the better roads out here.
Well, the
That
first
first
part
part
is, the
is,
back part is
yeah.
horrible.
The
I
first
mean,
part,
it's just, it's terrible.
Mayor, one other issue on that road, being I'm kind of the sign guy. Everyone uses County Road 2450, but that part of it is a private road. Is that something, are we exposing ourselves to some additional liability if they use County Road 2450
Well,
versus
it's not a,
private road
I
2450?
I don't think so.
it's
I
not a
mean,
pass-through road.
yeah, it doesn't go anywhere, and it's, emergency services would reference that street sign at 1565 and go down that road because they're using, I mean, it's kind of like a lot of us use Terrell as our address, but we don't live in Terrell. It's just how that mail route worked out. So, yeah, technically, the last half of that road should be called Troy Road or whatever it was originally, but no, we're not going to put up signs and confuse everybody. I think it's, whatever it is, and I can't imagine.
Well, that's the way I have it, is 2450.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And I don't live at the end of that road, and I don't know if anybody here does, but I suspect everybody on that road, okay, do you use that 2450? Okay. Right.
I certainly feel for you. I got the same thing.
Yeah, the one thing I did commit to the residents that live back there when I spoke to them yesterday was, it was pointed out to me that we've got one of our authorized trash vendors going up and down that road, and we're gonna shut that down. I want to talk to the resident first. I don't want to be rude and cut off their trash service, but Cards Recycling is clearly going up and down that road with one of their big trucks every week, and that ain't helping the road. So we're gonna at least get Cards off of that road. They know better than that, but anyway, separate issue. Okay, any other conversation from council? The only one we had signed up for this is Lutz, and they're not here. So anybody else in the audience want to comment?
Scratch your name.
I did scratch, I've come across some information that Mike would go over, so I figured it's done time.
Okay.
Okay.
And I guess,
Anybody?
Mike, I'd say, appreciate you doing that. That was a lot of work to dig into.
It was actually
No.
kind of, in a strange way, it was fun, just because it was like doing math, It's like, oh, I can prove
Well-
that, now I can prove that, now I can prove that. I mean, the courthouse was the real savior, because their stuff all being online, that's
Well,
incredible.
we're always conscious of is getting into a situation where there's a gotcha that we find out too late that we should have done something or could have done something. And by nailing down the papers, not just people's memories, but the documents, well, that means there probably isn't a gotcha that's going to come back to the council.
I think it's pretty clear. I don't like for the citizens that the answer came back that,
Yeah.
but,
Well,
It's-
a lot of people have
pretty clear.
memories, but not have the papers.
well,
But
and
you
if
got the
some past
documents.
commissioner did work on that section of the road, I'm not following up on that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just,
Appreciate it.
Okay, good. So that wraps up. We're not taking any action on that. We'll move on to agenda item 2, discuss and take action as necessary on the creation and adoption of a driveway culvert ordinance. This popped up because the other day, a person moving into our community, I guess, is building a home, and they needed a 911 address, and they needed to see what they needed to do about a culvert. The county, Kaufman County, gave it to me, and I told them, yes, give them an address. And I said, send them to the county for the culvert, and the county kicked it back and said, yeah, we're not doing culverts in the town of Poetry. That's your deal. So anyway, that sort of woke me up to, oh, okay, well, we don't want people just doing whatever they feel like doing. We probably need to make sure that it's adequate for the drainage and all of that, so they're not flooding their neighbors or ruining our roads. So that led me to, we need some kind of a very simple ordinance that gives some guidelines to drainage culverts. And this is not in any way an attempt to go back and make everybody in the town change out their culverts. This is for new build, new development, giving them some direction. And I will tell you, when I started researching this, what most towns seem to have is a driveway and culvert ordinance. So they actually talk about the driveway where it meets the road, the apron, and the width of the driveway, and how many driveways. My thought, I'm a weak mayor, so you guys get to vote, is we do just what we need to do. I don't know if we want to get into defining people's driveways right now, but I do think we want to get into culverts because that's a safety, in my mind, issue that also can cause expense if the road gets corrupted. But it's the pleasure of the council that we'll go with, so I'll open it up. I did throw in Oak Ridge, not because I think we ought to adopt this. It was the simplest one I could find, so I thought, okay, here's a simple one. Every other one I found was just really detailed, and I would prefer we start simple before we get going. So, council?
Well, I think culverts is really our next challenge, because when we continue to talk about our roads, we need to really start looking and focusing on the culverts because of the rain and the drainage and all that kind of stuff. I thought about this myself. You're right, we can't just have somebody, we'll just throw a culvert down there and put some dirt over it and we'll call it done. I mean, there has to be some dimensions presented. There has to be somebody to say, this is how you build it, because every driveway is going to be different by the depth of the ditch that they're going to try to match up to. So in just throwing out suggestions and thoughts and things like that, I was wondering, number one, we go back to see if the county, and we would have to pay for it, but for the county to go out there and look at it, or the owner present to them the dimensions and let a county approve it, but yet we would have to pay for it. It's like a third-party deal, or to have that owner, have to pay for an engineer, type thing. We know what that would go down to. But, we're getting at where if we, to start it, to have a permit, and the permit would be the fee of how much it would cost us to have somebody look at it as an engineer, because none of us are engineers to quantify that. So that's just thoughts.
Well, we do have a engineering company. There's civil engineers and surveyors, because calculating the water flow, there's a lot of things involved. I mean, I could calculate it, but I wouldn't because of the liability. But our engineers, I think, if it ever came down to it, because they have three categories. C is water flow and at normal rate, and D is culvert size, and then E is existing culverts. Well, all three of those are things that you have to have, a technical calculation, and it's done because it's not just the diameter, it's also the restrictions. And there's a lot of things that go into calculating the appropriate size and the water flow, whether it's turbulent or laminar or whatever it is. And that is something, in my opinion, if we're going to get into this, we would have to have our engineering firm, Hendricks, do the calculation for us, just to keep us out of any liability.
Well,
So I talked to the counties about this, if you want me to fill y'all in on that.
Please.
So me and Mike's had multiple conversations about this, and he asked if I told him what my idea was, and he asked me, yeah, go ahead and run with it. So that was my meeting with both commissioners the other day, and one of the lead guys, Kevin. It was a great meeting. So to your point, the technicality part of it, you couldn't be closer to the truth. Do the counties use civil engineers to figure those? No. They use tried and true. This ditch moves about that much water. It needs a 24-inch, so put a 30-inch. It's just everything oversized. To follow that up, anything that's put in today, Tom, and you would know this, can be quickly undersized with watershed of a new property development. So that being said, I asked the counties, okay, looks like we're kind of stuck with this. Y'all can't no longer do the installs, and how do we need to go with it? So I'll have this, and I'll have the secretaries disseminate this so y'all can all have it too. That's their culvert installation permit, their basic guidelines.
The county,
This is Hunt counties. I hadn't gotten Kaufman counties yet. Their basic guidelines. And what they do right now is they go out and they size the culvert, tell them, you know, the minimum size of diameter, the length, what it can be built out of, and then they do an inspection. And if it meets inspections, they're good to go. If not, they give them a
30 days.
30-day to correct. And if not, the county comes out, pulls out the culvert, sits it on the backside of the ditch.
That's right, they dig it up, set it up by your fence and tell you to start over.
So I'm not saying we're going that far, but we do have some guidelines that the county
what
has
about
provided.
Kaufman?
And
They have a similar one.
they have a
And
similar
Kauf-
one. Kevin, Kelly's gonna get with me.
Yeah, Hunt County also, they have a 15-inch minimum culvert. You cannot install smaller than a 15-inch. It's a pretty good pipe, size pipe, and it has to be 30 feet long.
Minimum's
That's
30.
their
Minimum 30.
Minimum's 30, maximums are 60.
Right. I mean, they're pretty big pipe.
So that being said, other issues with our ditches, and we've kind of hinted around tonight, and where I did my ride around with the Commissioner Monroe, is leading to your comment, and comments that's been made before, is the water that's not being maintained in the ditch because of silting issues and poor culverts, and it's spilling over. So I do have some prices from Hunt County. I don't have any from Kaufman County right now. Hunt County's willing to try this for a week and charge us $350 a day, provide us 3 trucks and a tractor to start cleaning out some ditches, and of course, dispose of the dirt. So that is extremely, extremely, extremely cheap. And if we can keep the water in the ditches and keep it off the roads, we all know that we're gonna have more success with the roads too. So it's kind of buying an ounce of prevention, you know, could save our roads a lot. So part of this conversation, I don't know if it goes there tonight, but that's well within Mike's, well, that's a one-day price. So we probably have to talk about putting some money in the escrow and turning those guys loose. It's kind of getting in their season where bad weather, they can park on top of the road and work on the ditches. So there's a lot of information here. I will share this with y'all. This is kind of the expectations. I asked of both commissioners, and until we get a better grasp on this, would they be willing to come out, put an eye on it, and tell me what size culvert that they recommend? So we kind of did some blind tests when we was driving around. I was definitely in the ballpark, and they said, well, go bigger, go bigger.
Well, let me ask you this. How many hot spots do you think we have? 5, 10?
Yeah, me and Mike discussed some of those today. Obviously, we didn't drive every single road, and I don't mind doing that to be able to give these guys a list. 2450 and back around that end is extremely bad, and I'm gonna,
58 is
yeah,
bad. There's
all
one
that
there.
on the backside, and I'm gonna say that's more silt due to oak leaves and silt rot. And then, of course, Kaufman County's definitely got some that me and Mike's already addressed. I'll take that on, and obviously I'll take your suggestions, but we just gotta start somewhere and start getting the benefit of maintaining our water flow.
Yeah, and it is gonna help us on the maintenance of the road.
Yes.
So Terry, is that document, would that be like a policy and procedure? Because after reading this ordinance, it sounds like we would have to have a policy and procedure.
I think it's a culmination of both.
Okay.
We would need an ordinance similar, we can work on this one. This would be the attachment, the addendum that can be changed with.
So that has the sizes.
ALA or something like that.
Yeah, I could, and then, man, everybody's scared of the permit word, and I hate it too, but the permit would not be a cost associated with a permit. This is to capture data and moving forward, build a healthy city. Like, we okay that
Yeah, and
that
it keeps the
culvert.
people from making a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean,
And choking, you know,
Yeah.
my biggest concern with
money well
culverts
spent.
is not having them too big. Some people complain, they're putting too much water on us. Well, take their culvert out, how much water do you think you're gonna get?
yeah.
Same
Too big's
amount.
not a
Yeah,
problem.
culverts don't create
Yeah.
water. They
Too
just pass
small
it.
is the problem. You start backing up water onto other properties and stuff. So we definitely wanna try to prevent that.
You know, the two things I found in researching this were, one, most of the towns I looked into don't charge for a culvert permit. They just don't. They just want you to know you have to come in and fill out some paperwork so they can keep track of it. And most towns do not pay for the culvert or the installation, the property owner. But again, the problem I'm trying to solve is people that want to move to Poetry, that want to put a driveway in, have no idea what they're supposed to do right now. So that's what I'm trying to answer right up front is, okay, used to be we could send them to the county. We can't send them to the county anymore. They're not legally allowed to do that kind of work in the town limits. So we need to start somewhere. I don't disagree, Tom, with your comments, but what I don't want to do is, clearly we need to check with legal, right? I can't imagine how somebody'd sue us over a culvert, but you can sue over anything these days. So I guess it could happen, but you know, I'm thinking this is just kind of basic blocking and tackling. Let's just make sure they don't go to Home Depot and buy a piece of 4-inch pipe and call it a culvert.
Right.
When they live at the bottom of the hill. That's not a culvert, and that's not going to end well, right?
Their
It's gonna
driveway will be gone soon.
with their driveway, and the road's going to get flooded. I mean, the number one threat to our roads, probably after heavy trucks and speed, is water.
Yeah.
Water goes down into all those little cracks, and the dirt gets soft, and now the road breaks up. And so I agree with Terry's comment. If we can get on to some of the drainage and ditch issues, I think that's going to go a long ways. But
Well, I guess one point I'd add to that is that both Kaufman and Hunt County have county engineers.
Yes, they do.
So they do have something to fall back on.
yeah,
Yes, they
they're
do.
willing to help
And,
us.
and I guess from my view is, and this is just to protect us, because is that, you know, we ought to have something if we're going to have it reviewed by our town
Yeah, I don't know that they're
engineers.
going to put their stamp on it, though. I think that's, you know, going too far, but I think they're going to give us direction.
Well, direction and wording, or direction and, even if it's the same thing that Hunt County uses now, just to say, yes, yeah, this is appropriate language for telling people what to do. So I guess that's where I come down to is that I would imagine anything that both Hunt and Kaufman County has been reviewed by their engineers.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and that's to keep away from any kind of, if somebody had an accident, got hurt, and came back to us and said, hey, they undersized it because of your dimensions or whatever. So whatever we come up with, which I agree we need something, is that the only thing is I would say somehow we ought to go back to the engineers. That's my recommendation. Make sure they agree that it's appropriate without a stamp. We're
Well,
not
and
looking for
the other
that.
things we got to worry about is the material, right? Because nowadays you have plastic
Yeah.
culverts, you have steel,
Well, there you
have
go.
concrete, and under certain driveways, you know, and you have to have so much cover, right, to give you strength depending on what you're using, and we want to make sure that we spell all that out for people. So if it's a simple driveway, they can put a galvanized pipe
And that is included in this.
right.
Yeah,
And
I
if
think
you're-
that's
if
the
you're
dirt.
in
Well,
a farm to
Tom,
market road. if
Then
you're
you
on a
have to
farm-
have safety end caps and all that. TxDOT
End caps,
is
yeah.
totally different.
Bulkheads.
I think on a state road, I don't think you're allowed to install the culvert. I think the state has to do it. You can't?
What I'm saying is I'll get that information from TxDOT.
Have to do it to their
and we'll
specs.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah,
anybody-
They're easy. I
Yeah,
can
they're
probably
easy.
send them to
They're
you.
very easy.
But they come with inspections. and-
Yeah.
Yeah, so if y'all do get a phone call of a TxDOT address, it is going to be different
Okay.
than this,
so,
anything we
But it would
develop.
be
I don't-
something, we need something to hand out to give the people, so.
yeah. I don't,
TxDOT will do those inspections though.
I don't think we need to, I mean, Kaufman and Hunt County have already produced a document that obviously their legal has already gone through. So I don't know, I don't know why we would need to get our engineer involved. I mean, that's all of Hunt
Only for
County.
approval, Tracy.
Oh, okay, all right,
Not to design it, no.
okay,
The size, it's more to establish the size.
And it's just to protect us.
yeah.
Okay, so for the benefit of containing this discussion, what I wanted to try to accomplish tonight is just to create awareness, and clearly we've got that. And then I'd like to assign someone to go off and work this a little further. We're not passing anything tonight with regards to culverts. And Terry has volunteered to kind of take this on a little bit. And I don't know, Terry, if you want to ask somebody to work with you or you just want to do it on your own, but just kind of put something together, and then maybe next month we revisit it in a more finished form, and we can have, I don't want to beat it to death tonight because there's a lot of open things.
Well, I appreciate both of y'all for doing the background. And as Mayor, as you stated, we got to have something in place, and this is where we're starting, where people come into town and want to know, what do I do? How do I do it? When do I do it? instead of getting crickets, we got to give them some direction.
Yeah.
So,
I would just ask, because I have volunteered to Mike, and with y'all's approval, I would definitely head this up, but if y'all reviewed this, I mean, this is, the simplistic document is
Yeah.
really applicable, especially when you team it with the specs that
Yeah.
they need to be put in.
That's what I would
Yeah.
say is missing,
Yeah.
is
me
that
too.
attachment with the
Well, that's fine.
specs.
So maybe you just go double check that, and we can double check with David on legal and then propose it for next month.
But,
Terry, when was
yeah,
their?
So
rec-
let me, if y'all don't
Or-
mind, I would prefer to work with Dale this, because he could, that way we can just keep it to the two of us, and he could go straight to
I'm usually
TxDOT
the
with
first
his,
point of contact.
yeah, you have those points of contact already, if
Okay.
council is good.
We don't need to vote on that, but anybody have any
Okay.
objections to Dale and Terry? Terry leads, Dale and
absolutely
Hilton.
not.
That's fine.
You good with that, Dale?
And
So
just
that's our
whenever you're
action.
ready, next month is an option,
We're
bring
gonna
it
bring
back.
something
and-
back finalized.
yeah,
Just let
that's,
us-
the action is to come back next month
Yes.
or whenever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would expect. So again, it's not a big deal, nobody needs to panic. I just feel bad when these people call and say, I'm trying to build a driveway, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's time to grow up,
Yeah, we need to have answers, so.
yeah.
Okay, we don't have anybody in the audience want to pitch in? Anybody got any thoughts on culverts or fascinating topic? It is when your neighbor doesn't put the right one in and suddenly you've got a pond in your yard. Okay, moving on to agenda item 3, discuss and take action as necessary Town of Poetry Road repair and refurbishment projects. As I say in the narrative here, we've requested estimates from both Hunt and Kaufman County. In case anybody thought they weren't getting paid attention to, I put every single road that I sent to the two counties to get quotes on doing repairs. And we've got some that are worse than others, so I know Tom and Terry, because you're saddled with me on this road thing, I sent you some additional detail that we can talk about. Those are the emails I sent you this morning. There are some pictures in here of the roads, and I mean, it's a stretch to even call them roads. Some of them have so many holes in them, I don't even know where you would start. Two of those in particular, let's see, Green Meadows is a little bit of a disaster. County Road 323, after you get past Town Hall and go down where used to be Councilman Brian Vincent lives, out to 321, I mean, the road is just, I don't know, it's just a mess.
I mean, and my husband and I rode all those roads, and there again, it's all a water problem. Every one of those roads is a water problem. There's no drainage ditches on any of those. And honestly, they all need to be, well, 323 and Green Meadows, in my opinion, needs to be totally ground up and re-asphalted over. But we don't have that kind of money.
Well, and Terry and I talked a little bit today about maybe me continuing to kind of lead on the pavement part and him leading on the ditch part.
Okay.
Right, so he can run around and sort of inventory and survey and rate ditches insofar as this one needs attention immediately or that one's a down the road kind of thing. And then I can kind of stay focused.
I mean, you can't even fix any of that. You
No,
couldn't even
it's-
put asphalt over that.
There's nothing to glue anything
No.
to. It's just, it's a
It's-
mess. So, and, you know, a lot of the repairs that I turned into the county, I believe fall under the responsibility of Tom and Terry and I, per the council's permission a while back, to just do potholing and edge repair. But we've got a couple that need more substantial investments. And those are the ones that I want to bring to council. So, in particular, we have a quote from Kaufman County, from Commissioner Lane, to work on Green Meadows. And Green Meadows, I think I told you guys in your note here. Let's see, Green Meadows, basically the proposal from the county is to cover up 750 feet at the beginning of the road, basically there at 1565, just basically cover over that road for 750 feet back to where the pavement starts to look like pavement. And what they were proposing is recycled asphalt with oil.
That would work.
Now, that's not going to be
That's not
a super hard surface, but it at least puts some aggregate up there and covers the road. They think that's the most cost-effective. The next step would be asphalt, and that's really expensive. I don't think we can afford it. One of the things I think we ought to do, this is just my personal opinion, I think we need to try some of these techniques to kind of see. I think they will give immediate relief to the citizens on those roads, but we may decide, you know, that worked, but I'm not sure that's going to last, right? Because if we find out, well, yeah, it was good, but 6 months later, the rock all went into the ditches and it didn't work. But to me, I think it's worth a try. So the two proposals we have on Green Meadows for the 750 feet, that's just a mess. The first one is oil sand. That was $35,000. I will tell you, Hunt County did an oil sand repair down the road from Tom the other day in the county, not in Poetry, down where just past Bishop Field. And I went out and inspected it today, and it's oil and sand. It's exactly what the name would imply. It's oil and sand, and if you can imagine putting oil and sand doesn't make it hard, it just makes it oily sand. And
And
so,
every time you roll over it with the tire,
and this
it picks
is
it up
not,
and
this
takes it
is
away.
not a negative to the county. I appreciate those guys a lot, but it's not a patch I would consider long-lasting, because if you get on it and just turn your tires, for example, the sand all like moves away. So I think it filled the hole in. The road is more drivable now, but I don't think we should spend money on oil sand repair as a technique. I just don't think it's going to last.
Well, I guess the one other thing is Green Meadows is not really a cut-through road, so it doesn't tend to get a lot of heavy truck traffic.
Right.
2434 obviously does, and some of the others.
Yeah, I
But-
don't know. I
so-
have this thinking that roads need to have rock. You know, they need to
Well,
have a good wear surface.
But
and-
the stuff that I've seen, generally, the length or the time of the road goes with the truck traffic. Cars, you can have 100 years of car traffic, and it's equal to, 1 year of heavy truck traffic. It's just that heavy truck traffic, the stopping and starting, that's what tears it up. Coming up real fast, hitting the brakes, digs holes, and then that, with rain and all, it just continues to wash. Then the other one is Amazon truck drivers come up, and they're in a hurry, so they goose it and they spin it out. So between the Amazon and FedEx drivers, and then the heavy truck traffic from cement trucks, that's what really tears it up. Where Green Meadows won't have a lot of that like some of the others, so yeah, I would go with the cheaper option
So,
always.
yeah, so my
and see.
recommendation to council on Green Meadows, we'll nail that one first, is that we approve the county doing a recycled asphalt with oil
Yes.
repair on it, which is $6,250, and then we'll pothole the rest of the road under normal pothole and edge repair, because the rest of it can be fixed with pothole repair. But that we-
Absolutely. I guess the only thing I would say, it's, I don't think, because the test for a cut-through road is going to be much different.
Yeah, well, we're gonna
So-
learn a lot in the next couple of
But
years.
absolutely go with the cheaper option is my view.
Okay,
Well,
so,
Have we done that before?
no,
Okay.
this is a new technique, but it's very affordable, and they can do it quickly, and best of all, they're willing to do it. We can hire them and
I
they'll do
don't
it.
think it's new,
No.
Mike.
Don't they have to
New to
use the
us.
roller?
Oh,
New to
Do
our
that?
repairs.
No, they're not gonna roll it.
They're not gonna roll it, okay.
They spread it out, and it's almost a little bit like chip seal. They just put the layer of rock, and then they come back and put multiple layers of oil, and it's got a new road.
and then pack it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, do we have let's do this by motion. Do we have a motion and second on approving Green Meadows for $6,250 for the 750 feet?
Can we talk about it and then move one time into an escrow?
Is
That
that,
amount of money into an escrow?
Well, we're gonna need to replenish the escrow. That's that's the next agenda item.
Right.
So we're gonna have to replenish it I feel like
You wanna-
when we talked about this, we said we were gonna bring bigger projects. And I feel like 6,000's a little bigger, so I'd like to have the
how much,
council's
how much you wanting for Green Meadows?
6,250.
But now, Mike, just to be clear, this does not include the potholes further down, only that area at
750.
close to 1565. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the
And I second it.
6250.
Okay, so we have Terry with a motion, Tom with a second. All in favor of spending 6,250 on Green Meadows?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous, thank you, council. Okay, next one up, County Road 323, again, that's the road the town hall is on. And the proposal from the county there is to put 1.5 inches of asphalt on the last 1,000 feet of the road. So that's from 321 back towards town hall for 1,000 feet. That's the part of the road that's just destroyed. And if they do a 1.5 inch cap, that takes 90 tons of material, or the other option is a 3 inch. I say we go with 1.5 inches. That's way better than it is right now.
So Mike, that goes from 986 to somewhere past Town Hall?
No.
Other end, start back
321.
up toward Town Hall.
The where?
321
Start
back
back up.
to town hall.
Whoa, that's not used very much. The
Oh,
area
it's
that's
Oh
used.
my gosh, that road is,
Yeah.
that's a busy road. People cut through to get to Dollhouse Road, to
Yeah.
3486.
Yeah.
Yeah, it carries a lot of traffic. It's,
Well, the area from 986 through Town Hall, that seems like, to me, like it's pretty damaged, and that's the one that seems to me more critical. I drove it. I drove down to 321, and I would still put that first 1,000 feet or whatever from 986 past Town Hall is the most critical.
Oh, no, it's not. Past town hall is a lot more
It
critical.
just
It's like. it
disintegrates
is
really
going
fast.
away.
yeah. Trying to find for some reason, I only put the 180-ton price on here. The 90 tons was half that, so it should be 8,100. I'm trying to verify that here, though, with looking up the email. But
That would be cheaper than the recycled asphalt. Is he saying?
yeah, I'm trying. It doesn't. Okay, so 323, 90 tons, that's, yeah, they're gonna, okay, for some reason, when Kelly sent me that number, he only gave me the 16,200, and I'm not sure which tonnage that's for.
How much, you don't have any, like, an estimate?
Well, let's do a worst case on that, and then we'll figure out. I didn't catch that. I believe the 180 tons is the 16,200, and the 90 tons is half that, because it's half the material, so that'd be 8,000. So if we approve, let's say, $9,000 to repair 1,000 feet of County Road 323 with an 1.5 inch cap, and then pothole and edge repair the rest of it, I think we'd probably be safe. If it's not, I won't do it until I come back for further approval. So let's just, I'm going to say an even 9,000 on County Road 323. Now, bear in mind, we do have money in the road fund, so we're
Yeah,
not,
that's what I was looking.
we're not down to our last money, and I just feel like we need to be investing in the roads incrementally, because they're not going to get any. I also want to take advantage of the fact that it's good weather, because come winter, they're not going to be able to do some of this stuff, so,
So we've got 91,000 in the road fund.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to spend up to $9,000 on County Road 323.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Terry motion, Doug second, up to 9,000 on County Road 323. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you, council. Okay, the others, I don't know if we need council approval or not. Four Post and Gate Lane, just a lot of potholes. They estimate it's going to be about $1,000 to, that's what they've bid. For $1,000, they'll go in there and fill all the potholes and tune up the edges of Four Post and Gate Lane. And those roads are kind of messy too. I mean, we need to do something because we're losing them, so. Now, we did, if you remember, a year or two ago, do a lot of work on those with the road crew. But I can tell you, most of that work is gone, it's disintegrated. I mean, it didn't hold up, such a thin covering, so.
So is this money, is that gonna be part of, well,
That's our
I
escrow.
guess-
All of this comes out of our escrow.
Right, but we didn't get, did we have anybody sign up for number 3?
No. What is the, I guess to further the discussion a month or so ago, what's the desire of council? I mean, do you, Terry and Tom and I are working these roads. Do we want to set a threshold? I mean, to me, 1,000 and 3,000, we should have the freedom to spend that. That's not. But if council wants us to bring every single one back, we will, but.
I agree. I would say give you all the latitude to take care of our roads, because if we're meeting once a month, here we're going to come into the fall weather and rainy weather, let's get it all done. And it saves us time for you guys taking that responsibility, so.
Well, we are voting to, as a council, to put money into the escrow.
Right. but
Using our discretion to tell them
Right.
where to spend it. It's still being reported on where they're spending
That's
it.
correct.
Correct, yeah.
But we will vote to spend the money. The money is spent. We're
Yeah.
just helping dictate.
We
Correct.
allocate it
So-
across the
Yeah,
project.
we, as a council, we've approved the budget, if you will.
Right, and if you'll remember, I asked for $10,000 the month before last, and I still will stand by that $10,000. I think we've done a good job. We haven't spent all the money that was allocated for one county. And, I mean, I trust the 3 of you to make these
Well, you're gonna,
decisions.
the worst we could do is go nuts for a month. I mean, because we're gonna come back and report to you, and then you just rein us in.
Well, that's the
But I
thing, the way the
don't
Right.
budget's
plan
set
on
I
going
up.
mean,
nuts.
the
We
money is
monitor
set
it.
aside for that. Why are we, I mean, I don't think this
Well,
is something that needs to come up every month or
We've agreed to
two.
escrow 5,000.
Well, that's
Why
fine.
not set it at 5,000?
Okay, well, just, we're gonna move into the next item here in a minute, but so far just in Kaufman County, Green Meadow, 323, 4 Post Gate Lane, and 247. 247's a mess too. It's got a lot of
Yeah.
holes in it. We're talking about $19,250. So just keep that number in mind, because we're gonna go to the next item, and I'm gonna tell you we're short, and we need to replenish it. So you're gonna get your wish, Tracy. You're gonna get to give us a bigger chunk. Now, I am still
Should've
waiting
listened to me the
for,
first time.
I'm waiting for quotes back from Hunt County, and the roads we're working there are, 2,400, call it the bottom part, down towards Quinlan End. We haven't potholed that recently, so I'm waiting for a quote on finishing up the potholing there. 2432, 2458, 2460, 2440, 2450. Woodland Estates is okay. Let's see, I put as the worst ones in Hunt County, I put were 2434 from 1565 to the town limit, they're 2440. 2426, which is my road, as you come off of 1565 towards the intersection of 2326, that road gets a ton of travel. 2326 is like a major thoroughfare in Poetry.
2426 or 2326?
2326. But you have to travel a little piece of 2426 to get to it.
Okay.
There at the stop sign, and that also
And there's
carries the traffic to the wedding
Two
venue.
90s.
That road where Ivy and others, if you know, live, is getting narrower and narrower and narrower. And especially with the wedding traffic who aren't used to it in the country, it gets a little scary because they want the middle of the road because they're afraid. So that stretch of 2426, I'm calling a little bit of a crisis. But again, I don't have quotes back on that, but just be aware we're looking at all those roads, so.
While we're looking at those long lists, we did identify another culvert the other day, Monroe and myself, on 2466, which is Grande Verde, and it's actually my old road. There's no problems with the road, but what we identified, we seen it when we drove by, if you know which one I'm talking about, right there before the S-curve, all the ground around the culvert was sinking in. I said, well, what's going on here? So we stopped. It's similar to the culvert pictures you said, the entire bottom's gone. We don't save any money right now by repairing it. It's as bad as it's gonna get as far as decay, and fixing it now is gonna cost the same amount of money as fixing it when there's a dip. But while we have this project sheet going, the whole bottom of the metal culvert's gone.
Yeah.
Similar to the ones Mike sent. So I would think we may wanna add that to the list. And then one other thing that was missed during the last administration is, Tara got a bid for rock on 2430, that end that's never been maintained, and it was a cost of $1,500.
Okay. Well, again, I think that's within the discretion of the three of us. This culvert that I included photos of is on, remind me what road that is, that's in Grande Verde?
2454. 54,
Okay, 2454.
by your brother's house.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you drive the road, it's like, there's
Oh,
this
yeah,
major
it's
dip,
horrible.
and
Yeah.
it's sinking
And that's what's gonna
slowly.
happen to the other ones,
And it's
too.
sinking
Yeah.
because these two 36-inch culverts have no bottoms in them, and they're just collapsing. So we've asked for a quote from Hunt County, and as soon as they get back to us, we'll figure out. But if they can do that, that's a major work. I mean, they gotta rip the road out.
And there's one more we've patched
Isn't that where
before.
the
What's
water
the one
comes-
on the back of?
It drains Dawn's property there, back and
So
forth.
it drains into my brother's pond, I
Yes,
believe.
huge, I
The
mean,
one
two
going to
giant
Bishop
pipes.
Airfield,
2452.
where that dip,
then it
we've
goes to
corrected it once.
2440, you turn back to the right on 2440.
So we've identified that's another one. So we actually have 3 projects like that that we need to get quotes
And
on.
there's a lot of traffic on that
That back.
2466 going back through
Yeah.
2440. A lot of traffic, through traffic.
Anyway, we'll get on top of this, but I wish we could repave a lot of these roads, we just can't. So we at least don't want to lose them. So,
Yes.
okay, we have no citizens to speak on this. Any closing remarks on road repair, you guys? We voted on the 2 biggies, but again, I feel like if we're going to give this to the 3 of us, you give it to the 3 of us, and we'll just report back monthly, both financially and through project sheets.
So for now, you're asking for a vote on the 4-post and the
Nope,
247?
I don't, well, I don't think I need one unless you guys tell me we do. I mean,
No,
That's
I don't
fine.
think we need
to me, those are small enough chunks that.
Yeah, and I agree on both of them.
Okay, yeah, I think we're okay on that, so. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to item 4, discuss and take actions necessary on adding monies to our road escrow fund with Kaufman. Again, we've got enough money for the moment with Hunt County. We've got $6,000 or $7,000, whatever it is, but that's plenty to keep us going for 30 days. Kaufman, we don't have as much. We're down to $2,900 with Kaufman. Well, we just talked about, what did I say, 19,250 in projects. These projects go faster if they've got the money in the bank because they're not worried about, and again, I think we need to remember, I know I tell myself, the county doesn't have to do this for us. You know, the fact that they're doing this is absolutely incredible, and I very much appreciate it. You know, someday, the town of Poetry is going to have to create a public works department, but it ain't going to happen in my lifetime because we don't have any money, and it's going to be us and hopefully the county continuing to help us. So I want to do everything to make them more and more willing to continue helping. Putting the money in the bank ahead of time helps a lot. They don't have to worry about it. So I guess the idea there is that 2,900, how short are we to 19, I mean, call that $20,000, so
So we're at 15,250 right now.
15
$15,250.
that
with
we're
the-
short?
No, that's with the Green Meadows and 320.
Well, 15,250, but then I added in the 3,000 for 247 and the 1,000 for Gate Lane. So that brings you to $19,250 in just those 4 projects.
Right.
That's if nothing else comes up.
Why don't we put all that in there and keep a remaining balance of $2,900? Or do
I
we want to
agree.
keep a
Yeah, I
balance of
think,
5,000?
yeah, that's what I would do. I would recharge the account with 20,000. Just
Yeah.
say, let's put 20,000 in escrow. We've got the money.
And just Kaufman County, or you're going to split?
This is just Kaufman.
Kaufman, okay.
I don't have quotes back from Hunt to do any work there. So the request from me, we don't have anybody speaking on this. Anybody in the audience want to talk about putting money in escrow?
So it's raising it from 5,000 to 20,000?
Well, 5,000 was just a number we picked. It's not a pattern. It's just, we
I
just
see.
thought, let's get started. Well,
Yeah.
and we got some work done, but now we got a couple of bigger projects. We need a bigger chunk.
Well, and we've already kind of stood the test of time with the amount that we put in it versus what had been being done in the past. So the method is working. The more money we have in escrow, the quicker things get done, so we're not lagging behind. And so,
Okay, so
Yeah.
the ask from the mayor is that we have a motion and a vote to put 20,000 additional in the Kaufman County Road escrow account.
Coming out of the
So it's going to
road?
come out of our roads fund.
$91,000
Right,
we
yeah.
have spent.
Yeah, I'll make the motion, we accept that.
Okay, we have a
I'll
motion
second
by
the motion.
Tom,
He didn't hear you.
second by Tracy.
He heard you.
Okay, all in favor of moving 20,000 out of the road fund into Kaufman escrow?
Aye.
Tom? Okay,
I think
Thank you,
Just
council.
another public thanks to the county. The relationship seems to be really great to have, and I know you guys on the council too have been working with that relationship. As long as we make sure it's a two-way street for both communities and county, so I appreciate that work.
I feed them at the same time.
That's what I'm talking about. Play the
Did
fire
you,
plan.
did anybody want to talk on this one? before we
No,
vote?
nobody,
Okay.
not on the road.
Okay.
Plus, doesn't it help them having money so they can get it in their schedules?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to Tracy's point.
It does, because
Yeah.
it's approved,
There's no
because they have to go to
delay.
they have to go to the judge, but they can say funding's already secured,
Yeah,
go.
That's right.
So we want to take advantage. This is a huge opportunity for us. Okay, moving on to agenda item 5, we do have speakers here, Herbert
here either.
and,
They're not here.
oh, they're not here.
No.
Okay, well, I guess one of you guys just get the urge to speak, let me know when we get to that part. Discuss and take action as necessary on status and next steps for planning and zoning. One of the things I'm trying to do with these little narratives under the agenda items is just let you know that there's no ambushes coming. We're not anything to get excited about. So you kind of have a feel for what we're intending to do that night, or at least what I'm intending to do. So to my commitment of P&Z is going to probably be on every agenda for the next year and a half. Here it is again. And so we can wander around on the topic as best we want, but Dale had brought up the question since the last meeting of the part in the ordinance that talks about abandonment and discontinuation of nonconformity and all of that. So Dale, you want to kick off the conversation?
Sure, and mainly why this is the first item in the P and Z is because we have one offense that we feel like there's an issue. What we do want to start off with tonight is we want to talk in general terms. We don't want to talk property specific.
Yeah, I don't want
I
to
don't think
name
it's
any
time to do that.
addresses or people or
And-
anything.
And we have no policies and procedures. All right, so in section 13 of the zoning ordinance, I think everybody had that in
Yeah,
there.
you should have a copy.
All right, it's stated as non-conforming. Quite honestly, this part of the zoning ordinance pretty much needs to be rewritten. There's several major mistakes in it. But let's first start off with what our problem is. Understand that non-conforming is any use that does not meet the requirements under the zoning ordinance. However, what this section of the zoning ordinance fails to acknowledge is legal non-conforming. Legal non-conforming is a property that is non-conforming once the ordinance is in place. It's legal because it's grandfathered in. Does that make sense? So that's part of the problem. Then what happens if you look at 13.5? Over time, conditions or things are going to change with a legal non-conforming property. As long as somebody's occupying it, reasonably maintaining it, we leave them alone for obvious reasons. But once this 13.5 happens, then we have to step in. Obviously, it could get real emotional because you're telling someone that you have a use that is non-conforming and you can't occupy it because of that, because you've met that 6-month term of being unoccupied or vacant. And understand, we see all of these abandonment, unoccupied, vacant. We need definitions for all of those words, okay? And there's also several words in here too, and Patrick can probably say that we say may in the ordinance. There's a big difference between may and shall.
Shall, right.
Shall is defined in the ordinance, may is not. And so, those are kind of things that we need to fix. But here's what happens. With a property that is legal non-conforming, 90% of the time, the non-conforming part is going to be setbacks or something like that. And you'll find that on your Appendix A on page 20 of 21 of the ordinance. And the properties that we're seeing. Now, what I have, this is not an exhaustive search, but in the town right now, I can say we probably have 5 legal non-conforming uses. Okay, and that just means 90% of the time, we have a setback requirement under, of 75 feet from the center line of the road. 25 feet of that is in the road right away. Therefore, from your front property line, and you can, the closest you can be to the road is 50 feet. And so we have several like that. What happens is we have several that are occupied, leave it alone. They're grandfathered in because it's legal. But what happens when conditions change, and this, that now it is vacant? Well, if you read this 13.5, the problem is we have no argument.
Right.
It says 6 months.
Yeah.
But we don't want to go to court and say, yeah, it hasn't been occupied for a while. No, we have, in essence, in my opinion anyway, that we need to start the clock. Now, 6 months rolls around, it has remained vacant, then at that point is when we deal with the property owner. I'm not sure that, I think we're opening ourselves up. If we get out there and say, we think that property, your property has, I don't think we need to go in there and create a fuss until we have something to back our opinion up. That's all. So, all I'm really looking at trying to do is getting some feedback from citizens and from the council, and I'll rewrite this and write policies and procedures, okay, that where we'll have some steps, processes that we're going to go through to create this. Now, and I would then bring it back, that one property back, to decide what to do. Now, one of the issues we do want to think about is the privacy factor. Do we want to do that in council
No.
or in a committee?
I would say, well, I don't.
We
What
are the P and Z.
What are the reasons for, well, I don't think that we can just redact that. I don't think we need to specifically spell out,
No.
we can just redact that.
Okay, so,
And we would have to legally anyway.
okay, so mayor and 2 council members committee can make that decision?
Wait a minute, what decision?
I would,
Well, I
know.
think we're not actually making a decision,
Decision.
but I think
We're not me yet.
one of the things I think we're going to have to do, I know we're going to have to do is, and we've talked about this a little bit, is we're going to have to decide who the overseers of P and Z are, right? So we're going to be, the council and mayor are going to be basically the planning and zoning board, I guess. We're going to be the ones to hear people wanting variations or whatever, variances, and we're going to have to kind of figure that out. That's one of the things we'll talk about at a future meeting. It's like, do we just pick a few of us and we hear it and then bring it to the council, or is it the entire council that hears it, or what? But, you know, we've set ourselves up here that we have P and Z, but we don't really have the, okay, so how do I interact with P and Z, and do their rulings, where do the rulings come from, and do those rulings have teeth, right? Do they have whatever? And I
So-
think, so that's one of the many things that I see us having to figure out over time, certainly not tonight. 'cause
So
it's-
if you're acting as the, like, city manager, I would say that the board or committee, whatever we end up calling it, and whenever that happens, would report directly to you. And then you
Yeah,
would pass it on to council.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. You know, my struggle in this, and I've shared it, I think, with Dale already, so hopefully I'm not surprising him, is I'm not sure that part, I don't deny that maybe there's some language changes and others that need, but I just don't know. When I spoke to TML about zoning a month or so ago, I was asking them how other towns deal with this, with pre-existing and non-conforming and all that. And do we have to issue certificates of occupancy at every house in the town and say, listen, we know you're not compliant, but you're allowed to live in your house and whatever? And the attorney just kind of laughed and she said, no. She said, yes, it's a good idea to have, because you don't have to have planning and zoning, as we talked, I think, last month, but yes, it's a good idea to have planning and zoning, and it's up to the city as to how they enforce it and where they enforce it. And that typically towns don't just run around checking compliant, non-compliant, and then issuing citations. It's sort of on a, if something drastic changes to the property, or if somebody files a complaint, you know, then they go out and they start enforcement. So my understanding is we are not obligated as a town to go enforce everything in this document right away. We can decide, and to me,
Well,
I
it's
just,
an unenforceable document anyway.
well, I
so-
struggle with, because I know we had a citizen last month, you may remember, that stood up and said, well, wait a minute, you know, maybe they're just not there right now, or it's their summer home or whatever. I mean, when I think about poetry and the things that I hope that we can accomplish with it, abandoned buildings just isn't on my list, you know, I just don't,
But Mike, understand.
unless they're a life and safety thing or
I
something.
agree, and it doesn't mean that we even have to take an action. It's just, the point is, we're talking policy procedures. I'm here to discuss policy.
Right.
How do you want to set it up?
Yeah.
Well,
And then I'll draft something up and bring,
and
you know,
part-
based on what you think you want.
part of our oath is the health and safety of the
Sure.
community.
Yeah, Well,
One
yeah,
of the
something
things
is a-
that I'm disappointed that wasn't in this document was a hardship clause. Because I think almost every city has a hardship clause in their planning and zoning. Because if you can't tear down a structure or something like that, you know, or you don't have insurance and something happens, you know, 6 months might not be enough time for somebody to come up with the money to do something. So I mean, I think we're all in agreement that this document right here, the planning and zoning, needs a total overhaul. But before we do anything, we have to establish policies and procedures.
well, and I think Dale has already, he sent me a while back a document, basically his critique and a bunch of suggestions, and we haven't worked that yet because we had budgets and things to get out of the way, but I think now is maybe a time, perhaps on the next agenda, that we start talking about some of these things, because I can tell you personally, and this kind of came up when I was researching culverts, one of the ones that really bugs me, and I remember the conversation because I was on the council,
Driveways,
setbacks.
yeah,
I mean, when I look at the setbacks, I,
Page 20 chart.
yeah.
no, it's not there. I've seen it. Anyway, when I was researching driveways, some of the cities did a really nice job of this saying, and structures can't be closer than, some of them were 15 feet, some of them were 25 feet from the property line, and I thought, you know, that kind of makes sense. I mean, we live out here where, you know, we're not Heath where the lot sizes are little. Most people have, you know, an acre or two or more. 5 feet from the fence?
That far.
I mean, holy cow, that's like right on your neighbor.
Right.
I struggle with that, and by the way, this is an open discussion, so I can talk about this. I'd like to see us change that. Now, we did that because we felt like, well, that'll make every house and structure in the town compliant.
No,
Well,
we didn't, Mike,
No.
just to be clear. The
Well,
3 people that did are not up
Yeah,
here,
I'm the council, right, but
just to be clear.
I don't agree with that. I mean, that one, to me, is like a mesquite thorn in my side. That, we gotta fix stuff like 5
Yeah.
feet. I don't want, and I'm not worried about, I don't care who's here today. What's here today is here. We're not gonna make anybody tear anything down. But if somebody comes in and starts building a lot of houses, I don't want them 5 feet from the fence. That's too close.
My gut is that 5
That's
feet
ins-
was put in there because somebody on the committee.
So I don't
something
care
5
whether
feet
we
away.
have a P and Z that makes everybody fit.
Right.
I care that we have a P and Z that addresses future development
Right.
in a way that we're not gonna be embarrassed.
And every developer will love 5-foot setback.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Oh, yeah,
gosh, they'll be,
absolutely.
that's what Bishop Field wants to build, right?
Right.
They want row houses
Exactly.
where they can stack them. So back to, yes, we need to, now the good news is we all got elected, including me, and we can make these changes, right? So I don't remember if we have to have hearings or not, but we'll do all the legal stuff. But we can change things that we don't think. But I think before we start enforcing, I think we need to have a document that we believe is credible and worth. I don't want to enforce a bad rule or a bad document because I think this is,
Well, and understand, Mike, we have no authority to condemn anything.
Right.
So all we're doing, understand, is here's just one topic, rewrite it, get the policy procedures in place, then let's go to setbacks.
Yeah,
rewrite it.
but I wouldn't want to even have a conversation with a neighbor and say, hey, you live in a non-compliant
No, what this
building.
would-
Because
no.
it's like, what does that even mean?
No, what this would do, by going the 6 months, is go to that owner. Now, it's gonna be a registered letter, say, hey, this is the deal, we need to talk, and sit down, do we have a hardship? Or,
Well, but that assumes we even keep that section written the way
well,
it is.
no,
We-
and I think we're gonna see owners with these types of properties, some are gonna say, yeah, nobody's ever gonna live there, well, okay, keep it secure, we're fine,
Well,
and that's
But if
okay.
you've got,
So
if you've
don't
got a
take-
house that
we're
have
not
the
going to the
structure of it's
extreme.
missing, we've got to do something
Yeah.
with that.
Well,
Well,
That's
if
a
it's
health
falling
and
down
safety-
and
now
some
we're
kid
Health
could
and
get in it and
safety
get
hazard.
hurt, yes, but
based on my experience, Dale, it may be worth, on the wording of addressing an abandoned structure, a hazardous structure, and a non-conforming
That's why
structure.
we need definitions, and we don't have
And
that.
so that's what we're talking, I was just bringing up my part of throwing something out. 6 months is a typical, and I'll say code stuff, because I've been knocking around some code stuff. But the only way you're gonna get authority to do anything is you gotta have an established code within the city to reference, to say. But the non-conform, or let's just say an abandoned structure that's unsafe, it's health and safety, I mean, it's rodents, it's high weeds, it's all the above. You can talk to the building owner, and my experience has been is you need to get rid of that structure. Now, nobody's living in it, hadn't lived in it for years or whatever, but it is becoming a health and safety for the community, because it's a health tale, because now critters and everybody. But you can work with people, and typically, my experience has also been that, at the owner's expense, they get rid of it, you know?
Well-
But again, I'm working on the code stuff to present, just to give us something to say, your structure is blank, and, then we have a code that says, we're not, you know, throwing anybody out. Besides that, if somebody's living in a structure, the city has to be responsible for relocating those people. So,
This is very rare, and it's gonna be the extreme case we'll ever have to deal with.
Right.
so I think non-conforming and, non-conforming and discontinuation may be a little, being together is kind of confusing, so it may be that we just
But that's why we need to
separate
add
it.
the word legal nonconforming.
Right.
That's why you don't, it's hard to understand.
Yeah. So.
well, it means, I think what I hear you saying is it's grandfathered, but there are things that can trigger the grandfathering kind of going away.
Exactly. I mean, something changes.
It's
since the
conditioned.
You
ordinance
lose
was
your
signed.
protection if you abandon it for a year, or if
Exactly.
you change it, or if you do something.
And we've
But
done,
but wait a minute, you know, first, we don't know that it's either unoccupied or vacant. We just are sitting out there, we have no idea. Abandonment is the third step, which is a legal process that you have to go through after you've proved that it's vacant. Well, we can't prove that it's vacant or it's unoccupied. Unoccupied means it's got furniture in it. Vacant means it's just clean, it's floors, there's nothing in the house at all. And then, you know, if you go to abandonment, it has to be for reasons, like because they haven't paid their taxes, it's a safety issue. Those, and you have to go to a court to prove that. Now, you know, that's a lot of money for us to be going into that. My feeling, and this is where I disagree with Dale, we've had this discussion. I think we just go to the owner and ask them, what is your intent? What's happening with it? And give them a letter before because we can't say 6 months it's been vacant or unoccupied, because we don't know. We're not there all the time. We don't know what's in there
that's why
now.
we start the 6-month clock.
But, yeah, Dale and I disagree on this, is that, you know, I say we go to the owner and ask them.
Well, I think that would be
I think-
definitely a
Heads
first step.
up that you're
Tom,
gonna
you're-
come
you're-
after me.
you're
I'll put
correct.
somebody in there for 24 hours.
But
Again, the situations I've been involved with, especially bringing up something to a code when the city has the codes, is giving them the time as long as you see progress being done in the repairs or whatever, you know. But hey, you know, if it's a banking issue where you've got to buy some more money, as long as we can see you improving If he's got to nail one board a day or something, as long as he's improving that, I mean, it's our discretion, would be our discretion to waive the time frame per se, as long as we see it going on. But there's a lot of things too that you can prove. You know, you always check your utilities, you know, if the electric's been disconnected and that sort of thing, so.
But this case, the electric box is still there.
But the water meter hasn't been used in 5 years.
So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Everybody's hitting on it. It's hard to define that stuff. We need the definition, but some of those simple clues that we don't have to have proof of is if the electric meter has been pulled and the water meter, those are uninhabitable houses at that point.
Well, the electric meter's there, but then we
It
don't
could be
know.
disconnected.
It could be disconnected.
Could be disconnected.
That's right, but we don't know.
Yeah, so we would suspect it, and I don't know if we can do that in our official capacity or not. I'm just saying that is a way to define
We need to.
vacancy or not.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. With FEC, okay? They'll tell you whether there's a meter or not, but that's about as far as they'll go. Obviously, it's gonna take the mayor to sit down with someone, okay, what's gonna be this
Because the meter
process?
may remain, they can turn the service off
Exactly.
over the computer.
Right, exactly,
Yes.
because but the same thing with the water. You go down to Poetry Waters, which is all I did. Hey, I don't need to know any gory details. Tell me, is this an active meter? No, it's not. Okay,
And
that's all I need.
Tom, I agree with you that, yes, we should get a hold of the property owner. But
Yes,
if we follow this, it talks about non-conforming or being abandoned. And so, you know, if we're gonna have planning and zoning, then we
But
have
But
to
first, you
have.
got to prove that it's vacant or it's unoccupied.
I just said, we need to go to the homeowner and see what his intent is, or property owner.
But we can't, my thing is, we can't prove that it's vacant or unoccupied.
Sure we can.
Without going to the owner.
Sure we can.
A lot of people around the world don't have electricity or water.
Well, if the house is halfway falling in, the roof is collapsed, I'm
It's
pretty
not.
sure.
That's the other one that's near it that is legal, is in bad shape. This one is not, it's in pretty good shape.
Okay, I don't know where either one,
the road.
I know where one is, I
that's
just
a
don't know where the other.
classic example. There's next door, it meets all of the setback requirements. It's off, nothing. We're not doing.
Yeah,
anything.
but is it a
It's the worst
hazard?
condition.
Is it a health hazard?
Well, but we don't have an ordinance for that yet.
Right,
That's our problem.
yeah.
So it's a matter, all right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we'll write this up, and maybe we soften after the 6th month, we soften, okay, what is gonna be our approach after we've met the 6-month requirement? Is approach the owners in a registered letter and establish a meeting? Was that something?
I don't know, I think that would be, I think we would have to get the town attorney, his,
But we're not
Legal
doing
opinion.
anything yet.
No, we're not
All
doing-
we're
we're
doing
not-
is establishing the situation.
Right.
We're not saying you gotta tear it down. We're just establishing that, hey, and really what would happen in the best case scenario, they would get a letter and it would say, your property's been declared uninhabitable. Now it's an illegal non-conforming use. You can no longer occupy it. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's really.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I just think we're a long way down the road from that.
But
We're
I
a
don't want to
long
throw
way down the road.
anybody on the street. I mean, it's got to be,
Exactly.
I mean, it's got to be gone. They got to be gone, and that's what
No,
we.
he can turn it up, he can turn it up.
So, what else, again, we
Testing,
need
1,
to-
2,
this
3,
needs to be
test.
changed. Just as an example, read the first sentence of 13.5.
13.5,
13.5.
whenever a non-conforming use or structure
The very first sentence. Read
is
it.
abandoned,
No,
all
just read it.
non-conforming.
Read it and tell me what it says.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was referencing when I was saying that to
Yeah.
Tom. I think my
Okay,
big,
let me, hang on, 13.1?
Yeah.
13.
Page 12, 13 point,
at
five.
the top of the next page.
Very top of the page, the very first sentence.
Oh,
Whenever.
Whenever a non-conforming use or structure is abandoned, all non-conforming right shall cease, in other words, grandfathering goes away, and the use of the premises or structure shall thenceforth be in conformity with this ordinance, forced to comply, in other words. Abandonment shall involve the intent of the user or owner to discontinue a non-conforming operation and an act of discontinuance, discontinuance of a non-conforming use, or the vacancy of a non-conforming structure for a period of at least 6 months shall be construed as prima facie, whatever, proof of intent to abandon the non-conforming use or structure. Any non-conforming use occurring within a structure that is moved from the premises shall be considered to have been abandoned. Any non-conforming structure that is damaged or destroyed by fire, flood, or other natural causes shall terminate all non-conforming rights in and to the structure if the cost to repair the damage is at least 150% of the value of the structure.
But you missed the first, look at the second line there. Our structure shall henceforth, after that's happened, be in conformity
With
with
this
this
ordinance.
ordinance.
Right.
Yep.
Think about what that says.
Yep, you have to bring it up to code to meet the P
Yeah.
and Z.
Well, exactly.
Yep.
You gotta bring it up.
At
Yeah.
the 6 months mark, it doesn't mean anything happens.
Nothing happens.
It
Right.
just means it has to be brought up to that
We
level
ha-
now.
we just
You
have a
cannot move back in
position
that
to stand on.
structure
Right.
in the current
That's it.
condition.
So,
Not
what,
trying to
I
be
mean,
ugly, not trying to be mean. We have to have a position that we can defend.
So a lawyer says, okay, prove that it was unoccupied or vacant. We can't.
That's right.
You got to go those steps before you go to abandonment. And we can't prove that it's
I'm not saying
unoccupied.
go to abandonment. We're not gonna abandon it. We're just saying that you can't occupy it.
Okay,
Well-
so,
Unless you correct the,
But we can't
non-conforming.
say that it's
but do
not
we know,
occupied
do we
now.
know that there's anything wrong with this particular structure?
Well, no, because, I mean, understand, when you're looking at this, I'm not getting any closer than the middle of the road.
Right.
But that's 50 feet.
Yeah. So, my question is, do we use the planning and zoning document to come up with policies and procedures? Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to do, clean up the
Yes.
write-up, and then create policy and procedures for it. This is just I've been through this, I've got 6 pages of things that need to be looked at, notes.
I've
So-
made some notes myself.
So we need to, all I'm saying is this is just the first one. We gotta start we gotta start somewhere. Let's
yeah,
start
and
with this.
I see this as an example of a piece of the PNC ordinance that needs some work, that needs.
It does.
So.
And I'll draft something and bring it back.
Yeah, what is I mean, we could belabor this, and I feel like at this point we might
are.
be.
Well,
And I don't want to do that. What is the will of the council? What do we want on the agenda next month with regards to PNC? What would you?
well, I think we need to do like most cities, like it was intended. Planning and zoning is usually done by a committee of citizens.
But
And-
they're handed a document. We're
Yeah.
still working on
They
it.
gotta follow the
Well, we
document.
can hand them this and say, go
No,
fix
thank
it,
you.
you know?
We
I
can
mean,
do better
I
than
don't know,
that.
but I do think that we definitely, anything we change has to have citizen input.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We're
no,
asking-
no
That's why
question.
we need to
We're
bring a
asking for it.
document for the city and the council to discuss.
Okay?
Okay,
I'm just trying to figure out kind of where's the tide.
Where's
You
the
know,
what?
Where are we really at on the issue, so I can write a draft that meets kind of where your feelings are at. That's all I'm after.
I
Well-
know everybody probably has something in there they would like. Sounds like you've wrote a 5-page or lengthy letter of what your thoughts are. Mine more has to do with the setbacks
Setback.
and the applicability of this. But I think that may be a small workshop or something, just to say, what are our concerns and which direction do we want to go? We have a document,
Yeah.
but we got to have a direction.
And I'm just trying to get the ball rolling.
And I appreciate it. I'm for a policy
right.
that sets that.
Yeah.
But to Tom's point, I can't disagree anymore. How do we prove the vacancy?
we do
The whatever we was,
Well, and are
It's
we,
either
again, are
unoccupied or
we,
vacant.
Unoccupant. I don't know how we prove that, but we gotta start having those conversations, and that's what Dale's wanting.
Well, we can't go inside the house, so we can't prove that it's,
So we start
doesn't have
asking how
furniture.
others
Once
do
we
it.
And if it's got-
notify them with
and if it's got
registered letter and
furniture-
have that meeting, they may invite us to do that.
well, and again, it, maybe
We can't
it's,
go there till they
maybe
invite
it's
us.
just me, but I see the value of P and Z with regards to new construction. I'm not
I agree.
seeing P and Z imposed on anything that's here now. Now, to your point, there's got to be a point in time where now it does apply, but I'm more worried about people coming in and building homes that are going to put them right on the fence because we said they could, or they're going to put them, you know, whatever. And so I think we need to make this into a document that this council, because we're in charge right now, believes in, and then we need to start building those policies and procedures around it, right? Start implementing it. But I don't, to me, there's no value in taking what we don't believe in and starting to try to execute, you know, on that, right? If we don't think it's a good set of
And we're not.
rules.
We're not executing. That's what I'm saying is, I'm doing this, just what you just said. All we're going to do is, no sense writing policy procedures if it's a piece of crap.
Right, well,
fix
let's,
the
so I
crap
think
and
the
then
first
write the
pass
policy
is let's clean up the document.
by
Let's,
piece.
let's turn it into something we believe in. And, you know, I'm not gonna go backwards because I said I wouldn't, but let's turn it into something we believe in. So maybe for the next council meeting, we have our P and Z agenda item B, review your,
Draft.
well, maybe everybody send in their thoughts and ideas, or at least have them ready for the conversation, and we'll talk about the changes. I'll check into how that process occurs. I don't know if we have to have a hearing or what, but we can have a conversation about, okay, here are the things I think we should change in this document to make it a more useful document that does what we want, right? It accomplishes what we want. And again, my guidance would be, I don't care, me, mayor, right now, whether the existing structures in this town meet the P and Z requirements or not. I do care about future things meeting those requirements, right? Nobody's gonna move their barn, but we can absolutely tell them where they can pour the slab or where they can put the driveway or
And
whatever.
Mike, I don't disagree. I think, why not, let's clean up, start somewhere, clean
Okay.
this up, and say, let's not act on any of them.
Yeah. See, like,
Let's deal with that 5 years down the road.
yeah,
10
another,
years.
another issue with this is temporary is used a lot of times as far as, rules for determining boundaries. You can't temporarily zone anything. I mean, it's either agrarian, I mean CAD, on CAD, it's zoned. You can't temporarily zone something just because the town feels like they want to zone it something. You can't do
It's
that.
not a zoning, it's a condition action.
Right,
But we don't have to act on that condition.
right.
Well, let's continue to work on the policy. But
And the
you're gonna have to back that up with a code. Because if you go and say this structure has to be demolished or fixed up, people are gonna go like,
Oh, yeah, we're
show
5
me.
years away from that.
Show me where, show me how, show me what am I supposed, what am I in violation of? So those are things coming down, and that's another step, and yeah, as everybody's talking about, this is a long process, but, you just can't go in there and write a document and say, okay, we've so deemed your structure is unlivable. Well, what makes it unlivable? And then we're stuck like Chuck, because we don't have a policy.
Okay,
I
so
mean, we
why
don't have
don't,
a code,
why
so-
don't we, for the next 2 or 3 meetings, work on the P and Z ordinance? Let's take what we've learned to date and what we've thought for a while now and start incorporating that into a potential update to the ordinance. And again, we'll figure out what all the requirements are with regards to posting and all of that. But I think this is our problem to address, it's our problem to solve, right? I mean, we can't whine about what happened. It's here, it's us, it's now, and I think we need to be working on it. So let's start with next month's meeting and with Dale's recommendations, start making changes to the document to turn it into something that this council is proud of and that this council believes will accomplish what we want to accomplish. And again, the mayor's preference is it address go forward, not address retro, because, you know, again, trying to make every structure in the town of Poetry be compliant with the P and Z, I think is absurd, because we got people with buildings right on fence lines and things, and that's not a go-forward position. That's
I agree.
that's an inherited thing. So, but let me also say though, Dale, because I don't want you to feel unappreciated. I mean, you were shining a light on things that I think are important, and these are good discussions, and I don't expect us to agree on everything that we talk about. I like the disagreement, I like the debate, I like the difference of opinion, but I think you are bringing to our attention things that are important. I mean, some of the contradictions, some of the confusion, whatever, but let's fix that.
Right.
You know, we are empowered, we are capable, let's fix it. Let's start working through this document. This is not the only version of this ordinance ever going to exist. This was the first one. Let's work on 1.1 or 2.0 or whatever the next one is.
So what are the marching orders for this issue for next month? I mean, just make sure I understand.
For P and Z, well, for P and Z, I think what we do is we take, and you can tweak them if you need to, your set of recommendations that you've sent me, we'll share that to the council so they can consider those and add in whatever they think you missed or they want to, you know, whatever, and then we'll have a discussion in next month's meeting about incorporating all of those into an update to the ordinance.
Yeah, well, generally, my 2 cents worth on an ordinance in this condition, what I think the best way is going to be, take each piece, fix it, approve it, put it in a file, and sit there. Because we can't go in and revise this planning and zoning ordinance every time we change a word.
Right.
We're going to have to build that document
Okay?
while we live with this document.
But I guess I'd like to get a feel, and we're not going to have enough time in the meeting because it'd be an all-night meeting to address everything you say, but at least get a feel for where you're looking and what you're doing, and then we can say, okay, we're going to start in section 1, and we'll clean up section 1, and then next month we'll clean up section 2 or section 3 or whatever. We're not going to fix the whole document in one setting, but I'd like to have a sense of how big is this project, right? And I don't think I really know that yet. I'm imagining it's big, but I don't know.
Terry and I were on the first P and Z 2 years, and we didn't have a document.
Yeah. Well, you got 1 year and 7 months left, so
Well,
that's if you don't run for
I mean, it's a
reelection.
big deal.
I mean, if we don't have anything done at the end of our terms, but policies and procedures and correct operating
I remember
manuals.
we spent a 2-hour meeting, and the only topic was billboards,
Yeah.
and we still didn't decide what.
Well, I guess I don't want to, I feel like for a few meetings now, we've whined and moaned about the P and Z ordinance.
That's why we
It's-
gotta
it's-
just start.
It's our problem.
with pieces.
I mean, you know, it's
We
our
can eat
problem.
an elephant a bite at a time.
Yeah, let's work on it, but I think, to me, the kickoff meeting is, agenda item, would be, how far are we from, you know, having something, I mean, how big is this thing, and what are we doing? And then we'll break it up into pieces and we'll start working on it. Right now, I personally don't have a good feel for how far off we are from good, but we got to do something. And I think in the meantime, Dale, you keep doing what you're doing, which is answer questions to citizens as best you can against the existing ordinance, and just let them know, listen, it's not something we're enforcing right now, but at some point we will be, so I'm just telling you, you probably don't want to build right on the fence, and you probably don't want to put in 6 driveways or whatever. You can give them some basic guidance. Dale is doing a great job of putting up letters that I back up, and we're recording those, so these conversations are all being documented.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, we're not
I mean,
in enforcement right now.
I think we've kind of answered our question. I would love not to have a planning and zoning, but Culverts has brought this to life.
Well, and again, it's not just the person building a single home, it's
Right.
somebody that has enough property in the town to put a bunch of houses in. We just don't want this stuff to go.
Mayor, if you don't, that's kind of what I'm working on right now, just FYI, while we're talking about scattering out the pieces of the document. I'm starting out, the budget's gone, I'm gonna start researching on some of this single family and SFE, which doesn't make sense, but I'm needing to do some referencing with the county ILAs that we've given them to describe what a subdivision is, because right now, according to the ordinance, the P and Z, if you're gonna do a large section of homes, kind of like Bishop Field, if you're gonna do a large section of homes, if we don't justify what a division is, or subdivision is, you're gonna put a house every 2.5 feet on 3,000 acres, that's 1,200 homes. And then you're gonna have multiple different driveways and stuff like that. Just an FYI, I'll be working on that, but of course I'll be whoever else needs some help. But I think that's something that needs to be addressed coming soon.
Okay, well, unless you want to overrule me, I vote we wind this conversation down, because we're not going to solve the problem tonight. We've shined light on it. Thank you, Dale, for the hard work you're doing and for your passion towards this, because it's
Just let me make
It's
sure I understand.
complicated.
I draft nothing for next month, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, just bring
Yeah,
your
you
thoughts
just bring
and
us
ideas.
bring us with the suggestions you
Your
have.
recommendations that you've
Yeah.
already produced, I just need to,
You're gonna distribute those.
I'll look through them, I'll distribute them, and yeah, we'll go from there. As if we haven't beat this to death, is there anybody in the audience that wants to step up and throw in any comments? I'll open it up.
Y'all are quiet tonight.
They're all smiling.
I think the glue factory call said, don't bring any more horses.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, well, thank you, council, for that discussion. This is probably one of the uglier things we're going to deal with over the next couple of years, but we got to do something with it. We can't leave it the way we found it. And so, again, every month it will be on there, and we're going to eat it one chunk at a time. Okay, so we're down to general comments, and Shelley Smith, you are up for general comments.
Okay, so I already talked to you about cutting down the trees, talking to TxDOT about doing the trees in front of the school zone
Yes.
sign. And I also know how much effort you're putting into this, and that you're spending so much of your life trying to make all of this right and fix it, and I appreciate it. And I particularly appreciate that when I looked at the pictures of the framers on the new building on the the PAC here on campus, that I saw you out there working diligently alongside the citizens, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
If I can, the art studio is going to be on the far side on the top
We
floor.
could hurry up on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that, my wife and I and our kids have been at this school for many, many years, and some of you guys have as well. And I mean, I helped build this gym and other parts, and when Ann asked for volunteers, I'm like, well, first off, you're letting us use your building for the meetings. I appreciate that. I can't say no. And I don't know, I feel like, to me, that's a little bit of what the town is about. We just kind of help each other and rally to the cry, so. Anyway, okay, I think that's all we had on the agenda tonight. Thank you for the audience, and thank you, council, and David and others. Meeting adjourned. It is 8:34 for the record.
Amen.